All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me again today. It's Coach Nate from Foods for Health, January the 12th, 2022. Again, still feeling weird saying that, but already in 2022, already almost halfway through January. Again, thank you so much for everyone for joining me this morning. Here, nice and early, 7:23 a.m. Sorry I'm a little bit late. Had some little bit of technical things we had to get through, but we pushed through it and we got through it, and then now we are here. So I appreciate everyone coming in. Thank you again for getting up nice and early with me to have a nice, healthy discussion talking about, I think, an interesting topic. And again, the floor is open to you guys as well. Toom, good morning to you. Good to have you in chat. Thanks so much for coming in again. Appreciate having you in here. But yeah, nice and early again. If you're new to the stream or you're listening to it a little bit later, we're here on the Foods for Health channel. Again, myself, Coach Nate, going to be doing the streams every Wednesday and Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we discuss a number of different topics. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about what foods to eat and what foods to not eat or foods to avoid for fatty liver disease. I think a very important discussion, again, just like everything else that we've been talking about, whether it has to do with heart health, digestive health, Alzheimer's, a number of different things. Diabetes is a huge one. All these numbers, obesity, I can go on and on. All the numbers are going up and up in different chronic diseases and different, not even diseases, but things that we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. And fatty liver disease is going to be one of those, all right? So we want to have a good discussion of what foods to eat, which ones not to eat, and other things like lifestyle changes, which is going to be a fairly quick talk today compared to our nutrition talk. What foods and what lifestyle changes we can make to avoid fatty liver disease and to reverse fatty liver disease, or at least have the chance of reversing fatty liver disease. Now we have to make the distinction really quickly, all right, between alcoholic fatty liver disease and non-fatty liver disease. Okay, I'm going to be talking a little bit about non-fatty liver disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, I should say. We know, for unfortunately alcoholic fatty liver disease or just fatty liver disease, are going to be having a lot to do with your alcohol intake, going over moderation, all right? So overindulging, over drinking, drinking into excess alcohol, all right? For non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, all right, it's kind of, when we say that, all right, a lot of people have different connotations of what exactly that means. Think of it as sort of like an umbrella. Sometimes what I use, the metaphor is the umbrella for superfoods, all right? Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, sometimes you'll see it kind of worded out or spelled out as NAFLD, all right, just non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, all right. Think of it as sort of a wide range of liver conditions that can affect someone, all right, even affect someone who drinks no alcohol, right? So that's sort of the interesting thing, isn't it? We have alcoholic liver disease and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Today we're going to be talking about non-fatty or non-alcoholic fatty liver disease mostly. If you have some questions on the other, please ask. Gloria, good morning to you. Great to have you in chat. Thank you so much for joining me. Appreciate having you here. Hope you're having a wonderful morning. Let me know where you guys are listening from as well. Let me know, what time it is there. Again, like I said, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on my end. But again, we're just making the quick distinction as I just take a quick sip of coffee and almost a little look into the future. Actually, one of the things that's often associated with foods that we want to eat for fatty liver disease, a lot of the times you'll see coffee being, recommended as a food that you want to eat for fatty liver disease. We can talk about this a little bit more. So non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, all right, just as has in the name, right, what we're talking about is just too much fat stored in liver cells, all right? And we know that it's becoming increasingly common all around the world, all right? Now, just like I was talking about with heart health, same thing with obesity occurring all over the world. When it comes to fatty liver disease, a little bit more common now, all right? We see the numbers rising a little bit more quickly in the western part of the world, so the United States, here in Canada, all right, the western nations, all right, eastern nations still going up as well, European nations still going up as well, but we see a slighter uptick a little bit more higher, all right, on the western side, so United States, Canada, those types of countries. California, very nice, great to have you from California. You're up very early, Gloria. 4:30 a.m., I believe, all the way there in California. Thank you so much. Midnight in Australia. Toom, I don't know if I knew you were from Australia. I might have, actually. Did you change your name, Toom? Is the name a little bit different? Sorry, sometimes I have a photographic memory, but sometimes it can be a curse and a blessing. Sometimes I'll get the names jumbled up. But Toom, if your name changed, if it didn't, I apologize. But being from in Australia, two places, it's funny, the two places that you guys have just been, letting me know in chat where you're from, was supposed to go to California, Gloria. I should have been there, all right? So I wish I could say that I've been to California, but unfortunately, due to the pandemic, it did not happen. But I would love to make it back, and Australia is very, very high on my list for places that I would love to go and visit one day, all right, and for an extended period of time. So welcome, both of you. Welcome from California, and big welcome from Australia. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. So I'm as I've been saying to you guys, and again, with the heart health, remember, heart health conditions, people who are going to have at least some sort of heart health complication, it's going to affect at least 1/4 of the population, all right? And that's looking at 2020 numbers, all right? So that's going up and up each year. By 2030, they think it's going to be 1 1/3 individuals. And this could be for, with heart health, it could be for high cholesterol, it could be for high blood pressure, it can be for stroke, atherosclerosis, high triglycerides, any of the risk factors, all right? 1/4 of the population. Well, in areas like the United States, where, as I mentioned before, it's probably the most common where you'll find some sort of chronic liver disease or non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, it's going to affect about 1 1/4 of the population again, so 25% of the population. All right, so this is why it's such an important discussion. This is why I wanted to make sure that we got onto this topic and we discussed it just a little bit today. 1/4 of the population, guys, and I know a lot of people listen from the United States, but again, just because I'm listing numbers from the United States, just because, 25-30% of individuals in the United States are going to be dealing with fatty liver, don't forget, individuals all over the world, it doesn't matter if it's 25% or 15% somewhere in the eastern part of the world. That's a high proportion of individuals who are going to be dealing with fatty liver disease. Susan, good morning to you. Great to have you in here. Tammy, good morning to you also. Thank you, guys. Awesome. We have our familiar faces in here. Thank you so much for the support, guys. I really appreciate it. Now, don't forget, too, we're talking about non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. All right, 1/4 of the population. All right, that doesn't take into account alcoholic fatty liver disease, which is only going to increase the numbers. All right, now the reason why I'm focusing on the non-alcoholic side is because if we have alcoholic fatty liver disease, all right, we know what its main cause is, guys. Usually we have cirrhosis, things that we're dealing with there. Other common, here with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, we can have a number of chronic liver diseases, all right, kind of that umbrella term, all right. We know that the main characteristic, the main cause of the other is going to be alcohol, all right, and that's what you would have to get rid of immediately, all right. So again, just to sum up, for our non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, all right, we know that it can affect anyone who drinks little to no alcohol, so huge difference there, right? But we also know that it's for individuals who have too much fat stored in the liver. Okay, so too much fat stored in the liver, we need to make sure, all right, that we're reducing fat in the liver. And remember, 0.25% of the population in the United States and increasing worldwide is going to be dealing with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Inder, great to have you in chat. Thank you so much. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining the stream. Sonia, great to see you in chat. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, Sonia. Great to see you in here. It's a pleasure always having you in here, Sonia. Great having you in here, like I said. And a member of the channel. Thank you so much, Sonia. I appreciate it. Great seeing you in here. So again, with our you'll see it as NAFLD. All right, so all that means is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. We know some causes, all right? But let's talk a little bit, just real quick, what some of the symptoms are. I'll have people who I'm working with, clients who will think that they have fatty liver disease, all right, but not always know exactly what the symptoms are. A lot of the times they're worried about it because they're starting to get into their late 30s or into their early 40s, mid 40s, and so things that they weren't thinking about before, all right, now they're starting to think about a little bit more frequently. Fatty liver disease being one of them, especially because it's being talked about more and more. We see it more and more in news articles, on the news, things like that. All right, so what are the symptoms? We need to know the symptoms. The first thing I would say is really easy. You can go and get checked by your medical practitioner. All right, medical practitioner, very, very easy. You can go and get tested, and then they'll probably do a blood test on you, and then you can check to see if there's any issues with having to do with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. All right, fatty liver disease. Some symptoms that you're going to find if you might have it, and remember, there's others as well. All right, I'm just keeping it simple. The first thing I would do is speak with your medical practitioner. Justin, great to have you in here. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys, for all the thumbs up. I see, too, we're at 20 thumbs up. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. Arrington, very good morning to you as well. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for all the good mornings. I appreciate it, especially everyone coming in on a Wednesday morning. As I say, you guys are easily the top 5%. You might be the top 1%. All right, there's not a lot of individuals coming in at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on a Wednesday morning to talk about fatty liver disease or to talk about nutrition, what to eat, what not to eat. So congratulations to you guys. If you're new to the chat, there might be a couple new people in here. Usually I'm pretty good with remembering the names. But if there is a few people who are new to the chat, welcome. It's a pleasure having you here. Arrington, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Good morning. Thank you so much. So just the signs and symptoms, guys, real quick, okay? Again, speak with your medical practitioner, please. All right, you can get tested. All right, it's very easy. All right, but some of the most common ones, all right, is going to be pain or discomfort. And where that pain and discomfort is going to be located is in the upper right abdomen. All right, it's almost like sometimes even a bloated feeling that you're going to get up through there. All right, the upper right corner, all right, of the abdomen. All right, so pain, discomfort, sometimes bloating, all right, and that's, sometimes, and that can be caused by a couple different things. So just because you have that, again, this is why you need to speak with your medical practitioner, all right, could be caused by a number of different things, but those who have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, one of the signs and symptoms could be pain or discomfort in the upper right abdomen, sometimes bloating up through there. Another, let me catch up to the comments here. One more, just real quick. One more symptom, guys, is going to be fatigue. All right, fatigue is another big one. All right, that might be the first one that you see. All right, but you need to make sure you see your doctor, your medical practitioner, if you have persistent signs and symptoms. All right, I would say even see your medical practitioner if you have any concerns. Put your mind to rest. Make sure that you speak with your medical practitioner if you have any concerns or if you have any signs and symptoms that are continuing on. Okay, look, everyone in here. Thank you so much, guys. Joan, good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining me today, Joan. A pleasure. Lester, thank you so much. Great seeing you in chat. out in blood tests. Yep, exactly, Toom. Absolutely. Justin, I'm juicing 40 ounces of celery juice as I speak. Big guy, good for you. All right, Justin, very nice, very healthy. Good for you. 40 ounces is a lot. Are you drinking that all at once, or are you kind of making it for a few days? To keep it easy on your wallet, all right, and to limit a little bit of sodium. Again, it's very, very important to get celery juice in. I love celery juice. I recommend it to a few of my clients. All right, just be careful with the sodium, the amount of salt that's in it. All right, again, it's not super high, but we just want to make sure that we're cognizant of it. 40 ounces, you got yourself a few servings there, my friend. So great, that's awesome. Celery juice as you speak, that's amazing. Nice and healthy, Justin. Great way to start the morning off. Nice green juice. And Gloria, thank you so much for joining me. All right, guys, so thank you so much. We're getting off to a great start here. We want to talk a little bit about the signs and symptoms. What is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease or fatty liver disease, whatever way you want to call it. All right, so we're starting to get a better understanding. All right, so signs and symptoms: fatigue, pain, or discomfort. Remember, it's going to be in the upper right abdomen. All right, that's what we need to remember. That's where it'll be located. Okay, if you're having persistent signs and symptoms, any of those, speak with your medical practitioner. Again, I say if you have any concerns, all right, make sure you speak with them. You can easily get a blood test. Now, here in Canada, it's very, very easy. I'm hoping it's easy in the United States and cost effective, and I know everything that goes on with healthcare. Remember, we can't ignore those facts as well. So I would hope that it's nice and easy and okay on the wallet for everyone as well. Now, on the other side, all right, let's say for alcoholic fatty liver, all right, with cirrhosis and everything like that, we're doing cirrhosis, you're doing damage to the liver. Over time, we can get the same damage from drinking or from non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. That's why it's important that we figure out, do we have this? Right? And if we do, let's immediately start working, all right, either with our doctor, with medical practitioner, and through lifestyle changes and nutrition especially. Yes, thank you, Sonia. Exactly. If this is your first time, welcome. Thank you, Sonia. Welcome to the chat, guys. I appreciate it. I just down the whole thing. Good for you. I have built-up tolerance, and I'm 235 pounds. Nice. I feel crazy good after I drink it. Yes, it's tons of nutrients, absolutely. And if you've listened to the streams before, right, like Justin is doing, I'm a big fan and big proponent. We'll get right back into fatty liver disease, but just a little offhand here. I'm a big fan of one ingredient drinks like you're having, Justin. Now, you might throw one other thing in there for taste, but having a green drink, a green smoothie, I am a huge fan of the single ingredients like celery, like maybe spinach and celery or something like that, keeping it limited. Right? I'm a big fan of that. Especially for juices. So many of the recipes out there have sort of, in my opinion, gotten so out of hand. A lot of them, one, not very cost effective, and two, takes forever to make because you got to wash everything, put it all in. All right, it's a lot of prepping that goes into it. You can get tons of nutrients, from spinach and celery, even just spinach, even just celery. 40 ounces of celery juice. Wow. Getting some good hydration there too, because there is absolutely a lot of water in celery. But thank you so much, guys. It's a pleasure having you all in chat today. It's a pleasure having you all listening to the stream. I'm so happy to have you all in here. All right, so those are our signs and symptoms. All right, now let's talk about what could cause fatty liver disease. All right, what are the things that might put us at risk for developing non-alcoholic fatty liver disease? All right, fatty liver disease. I think I might just start calling it fatty liver disease. You guys, I think at this point we're talking about non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. All right, it's a little easier to say. But what are the causes? What are some things that we might want to make sure that we limit? All right, or some of the things that we're at least cognizant of, all right, so that we are lowering our risk of fatty liver, all right, of fatty livers and inflammation in the liver. Because don't forget, similar to alcoholic fatty liver disease, all right, we have people who are having fat accumulate in the liver, all right? Again, that's why we're getting fatty liver disease, all right? Now, as we start to acquire that fat and it starts to build up, we're having more and more inflammation within the liver over time, all right? It might be a few years, it could be 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, whatever it is. Over time, it's going to, or at least has the ability to, or the risk of progressing to cirrhosis of the liver. So we need to make sure that we're cognizant of that as well. We're damaging our liver, right? So we're accumulating fat in the liver. It's going to increase inflammation, right? Obviously, if we have this disease that's going unchecked, right, it could, at least the risk factor is going to go up to eventually lead to cirrhosis of the liver here, guys, all right? So it's very, very important that we make sure that we find out if we are dealing with fatty liver disease. So let's talk a little bit about, some of the things that could cause, or at least could increase the risk of having more and more fat in the liver, all right? And having fat in the liver and then excess fat and not being removed, all right? So it's staying in the liver, all right? Liver is building up with fat, not being removed. There's not that breakdown, because remember, we talked about the breakdown of fat in the liver in our ketogenic diet discussion, all right, where we get that good breakdown of fat in the liver, which is going to create ketones, which is good. You're in the metabolic state of ketosis. This is the exact opposite. No breakdown of fat. You have fat accumulating in the liver, doing damage to the liver, more inflammation. The liver's not going to be functioning properly, and the liver is one of the most important organs, which could eventually lead to scarring and cirrhosis of the liver, guys. So we need to be careful. Let's all get checked. Let's all make sure that we're doing the right thing. So let's talk about some risk factors. Put down the juice of 2 lemons, slightly watered down. Yep. Lemon's very popular before celery juice. So you have it the hard way. You do it the hard way. You absolutely do, Justin. And you're doing it kind of like what I'm saying. I almost mentioned lemons. Lemons is very tough, though. I have to admit, I will admit that, I've made green juices before, and I had lime and lemon. All right, I could not. Some of the recipes, and this was probably about, I'd say, 5 or 6 years ago, could not consume it. Actually had to get rid of it. Maybe I gave it to someone else just because the taste with the lemons. So the fact that you're able to do it with the 2 lemons, that's amazing. Watered down is definitely smart. I found it just, the lemon overpowered it. So congratulations to you. 2 lemons. Now, if you're having 2 lemons and, as much celery as it takes to get 40 ounces, I think it's a combination of both. It makes a little bit more sense that you'd get your 40 ounces there, Justin. But, man, crushing it this morning. Good for you. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what has been linked to fatty liver disease, guys. All right, we're starting to understand the signs and symptoms. We know what we're having. All right, we know what might be the causes. All right, buildup and accumulation of fat in the liver without the breakdown. All right, so the opposite of what we talked about in keto. All right, where we get that nice breakdown. All right, some of the risk factors or causes of fatty liver disease, all right, that we've seen in studies, all right, can be linked to 1, overweight and obesity. And that's usually the first sign. If someone is either overweight, obese, or extremely obese, those are the individuals that are going to be thinking most about fatty liver disease, at least in my experience. And I've worked with, hundreds, as I mentioned, hundreds of individuals before. That's when people start to get a little bit worried once they start hearing about fatty liver disease. If they're overweight, or especially if they're obese or extremely obese, that's when they start to think about fatty liver disease. Now, also remember, I'm working with whatever percentages it is, very, very small. And the individuals that I work with want to improve their health. So I'm saying those are the individuals that are thinking about fatty liver disease, but there's a lot of individuals who are not thinking about it, all right? And that's why we see an increase, such a big increase in fatty liver disease. Right? So one of the causes is being overweight or obese. Sorry. The other one, high blood sugar. All right. So individuals who either have pre-diabetes or might have type 2 diabetes. All right. So those are individuals, all right, that might have a higher risk to fatty liver disease. All right. Now another one, all right, are individuals who have insulin resistance. All right, insulin resistance. We want to make sure that, if you have any questions about insulin sensitivity, insulin resistance, do a quick search on the channel. You'll find videos on what insulin sensitivity is, all right, and how we can help prevent insulin sensitivity, insulin resistance, all of that stuff. Things that we do not want, because remember, insulin is a very, very important hormone. Lastly, one of the other causes is high levels of fats in the blood. All right, and when we're talking about high levels of fats in the blood, usually we're talking about high triglycerides. So heart health discussion kind of fits in there too. If we have high triglycerides in the blood, then you're more at risk for having fatty liver disease. All right, especially, as we know, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Okay. So just be on the lookout for those guys. All right, if we're dealing with any of those, let's try to make sure that we're addressing those. A lot of it can come down to diet, and that's why we can reverse. All right, if we're at the early stages of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, we have the ability, all right, to be able to reverse the disease. If you're overweight or obese, if we get back down to our normal healthy weight, okay? If we have high blood sugar, if we reduce the amount of sugar, maybe if we temporarily reduce the amount of carbohydrates in our diet, all right, again, we know that we can reverse, or at least have the potential to reverse prediabetes and even type 2 diabetes, which is tremendous. All right, and then also we can do things if we have high levels of fat, like triglycerides, just like if we have high blood pressure or high cholesterol. Thank you so much for the thumbs up, guys. Again, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I like Irish oatmeal. Very nice. Patrick, welcome, by the way. I like Irish oatmeal. I'm a huge fan of oatmeal right now. Unfortunately, not eating oatmeal. It's hard to stay away from, but no oatmeal for myself. It's, if you're on the last chat, right now I'm just doing keto for about 3 to 4 months with peanut butter, banana, blueberries, some cinnamon, and sesame seeds. Patrick, it's almost like you're taking one of my my recipes there. That's perfect. I love that. Peanut butter and banana, is very popular recipe when it comes to oatmeal. That's why I always tell people, individuals, they say they don't like oatmeal. There's so many ways, there's so many things you can add to it that makes it amazing. With that, Patrick, if I can just give one simple tip, and you might be doing this already. It sounds like everything you're doing there is 100% fine. I would have half the banana. You got the blueberries in there. Now, the reason why I say that is because you already got your oatmeal as your carbohydrate. And remember, very, very healthy carbohydrate, a complex carbohydrate. Oats, all right, are your whole grains. Tons of health benefits from oats. Peanut butter, you have a healthy fat, all right, which is great. All right, again, though, oatmeal carbohydrate, banana carbohydrate. All right, you're combining 2 carbohydrates. Just be careful that you're not going too high. You have your blueberries, amazing, superfood, cinnamon, amazing, great antioxidants. I always put Ceylon cinnamon in my oatmeal, and then sesame seeds. That's amazing. So you have tons of superfoods right there in your oatmeal. Just be careful with the amount of carbohydrates, and I know that you probably are. I'm just kind of giving this out as a point for anyone that's listening, right? Just be careful with the amount of carbohydrates that you're having, right, and the amount of fat that you're having, all right? You have 2 fats there, right? You have peanut butter and you have sesame seeds, all right? Both very, very healthy, both awesome for oatmeal. Just be careful again. I think that's tremendous, especially as a first meal. A lot of people will, eat their breakfast and it'll only be a banana, and then they're hungry an hour or 2 later. Yours right there is going to be very filling. You have tremendous amount of fiber right there. You have fiber in the oatmeal. You have fiber in the peanut butter, a little bit underrated, about 2 grams of fiber per tablespoon. You have some in the blueberries, and you even have some in the cinnamon and sesame seeds. So very nice, Patrick. That looks good. Very good. All right, now lastly, before we get into the foods, all right, what foods do we eat? What do we avoid? We're going to get right into it here. So again, those causes are going to promote the deposit of fat in the liver. Okay, again, excess fat. Think of excess fat in the liver, guys, almost as like pathogens, almost as like toxins to liver cells. All right, so it's very much going to be hurting the liver, and it's going to be acting as a toxin to liver cells. And when that happens, that's going to create inflammation in the liver, all right, and eventually can have the potential to build up scar tissue, so cirrhosis or of the liver, damage to the liver. And if we have that damage, it's not going to be functioning properly, and we need our liver functioning properly here. Lastly, other risk factors. So we know the causes. Let's just finish off with risk factors, guys. We already know a few of them. All right, high triglycerides in the blood. Again, high cholesterol. All right, those can kind of go hand in hand. I almost said it right when we were talking about our causes, but high cholesterol is another one. Okay, obesity, big one. That's probably our biggest, guys. All right, now the reason why you need to speak to your medical practitioner is another cause, all right, or risk factor is if you have an underactive thyroid, all right, also known as hypothyroidism. So an underactive thyroid could be a risk factor, so increase your risk of developing non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So you have to speak with your medical practitioner, and that's why it's hard on a case-by-case basis. Say someone was to ask me, do you think I have fatty liver disease? Well, you have to know your full medical history, all right? If you're dealing with hypothyroidism, all right, which your medical practitioner should know, right? Those are one of the risk factors, all right? That's going to help in determining as well, right? The other one is an underactive pituitary gland, all right? So underactive thyroid or underactive pituitary gland, all right? Those are some of the more complex risk factors. Again, that's why we want to speak with our medical practitioner. All right. Some of the other more common ones, as we mentioned, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, obesity, those are going to be your biggest ones. All right. Metabolic syndrome, all right, is another really common risk factor. Sleep, guys, all right. Also, you guys know how much I love to promote getting enough sleep, getting your 7 to 8 hours a day, all right, making sure that we get enough sleep, all right. Low sleep levels can also actually be a risk factor, okay, and especially for individuals who are older. So that's our risk factors, that's our causes, guys. That's what fatty liver disease is. I hope that was helpful for you guys, sort of breaking it down like that. Avoid eating fats with carbs. I think the one thing that I would say with Patrick too, I like Patrick's meal there. Patrick has a nice meal with good fat, and here's why I like Patrick's meal. All right, he has nice complex carbohydrates, all right, some fruit, yes, the banana, all right, but the banana is okay, it's just a little bit, it's going to spike blood sugar a little bit, but you have things that are going to blunt that spike in blood glucose, all right, so glucose and insulin. You have your peanut butter, you have your oatmeal, which is high in fiber, all right, and then you have even your cinnamon is going to help regulate blood sugar levels, and your sesame seeds are going to slow down the digestion, right? Which is very, very good. Very, very good. Sweet Cakes, awesome having you in chat. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate it. Kathleen, good morning to you. So Sweet Cakes and Kathleen, thank you so much for joining today. Welcome. I hope that you find this chat valuable in some sense, talking about fatty liver disease. And remember, guys, feel free to ask your questions as well. The floor is open, right? We've been going on talking a little bit about the causes, what non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is, the numbers, so how many people are going to be dealing with it. We know that it's quite high these days, a quarter of the population in the United States, very similar percentages around the world, and we know that it's increasing every single year due to the risk factors and the causes, all right, obesity being the main one. And now that we know what it is, it's the accumulation of fat in the liver, which could eventually lead, all right, to other chronic diseases of the liver, such as cirrhosis. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. We broke it down just a little bit there. Now for some of the important stuff. Lifestyle change, guys. The lifestyle change, we can't underestimate lifestyle change, because one thing that we can do with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is there are ways to reverse fatty liver disease, all right, especially before we get some of those more complicated sort of diseases like scarring, cirrhosis, and things like that, right? The ways that we can reverse it, yes, we're going to talk about diet, but the other thing that we can do, all right, is exercise. Exercise more, all right? We want to make sure that we're getting in that 150 minutes per week, okay, of moderate intensity, all right? Usually they say aerobic. I think a combination of aerobic and anaerobic, so a little bit of resistance training is nice as well, okay? Because what you see is 150 minutes per week of moderate intensity aerobic activity, but then also some strength training at least twice per week. All right, that's a lot for some people who are getting started. I think if you can start out with 150 minutes of a combination of both, I think you're doing a great job. I mean, if you're going from zero, all right, if you're going for that 150 minutes per week, all right, again, little by little, all right. Again, that's not super tough, but it's 2.5 hours, all right, of aerobic, so cardio, moderate intensity, and then another 2 days of resistance training. I always like to tell people, start simple, start small, keep it low to start, and you can always gradually build it up, all right, build it up. I put your thumbnail as my phone wallpaper, nice, so subconsciously I'll crave more fruits and vegetables. That's awesome, Justin. I had those 2 pictures, a lot of comments based on these pictures, just how good they look, and they're actually catchy for my eye as well. I thought that they were great thumbnails and something to throw up when my face isn't actually on the stream. If you're looking for a face reveal or wanting to see the face behind the voice, then you can look at the last stream, and you got myself there for 2+ hours. But it will make you crave fruits and vegetables. I mean, just looking at it, if you're not craving avocado, walnuts, and blueberries right now, you might be in the minority. Dealing with fatty liver yourself, but I'm skinny fat. Okay, Kathleen, exactly. So it's great that you point that out, all right? First things first, speak with your medical practitioner. If you heard some of the causes and risk factors, all right, there's things that you can do to reverse, all right? We know what might be some of the causes. We know what might be the risk factors, all right? Again, speak with your medical practitioner, all right? Sometimes you might have to go on medication because you might be dealing with one of the more complex risk factors, like hypothyroidism, like a underactive pituitary gland, things of that nature. So speak with your medical practitioner, all right? But again, skinny fat, all right? We can still be skinny fat. Right? Again, that has to do a lot with our diet, all right? A lot with our activity levels, all right? Things of that nature. A lot of times we'll look at people who seem thin, all right, but they might have excess fat, all right? Just like on the outside, it could be on the inside as well. So Kathleen sends up, being skinny fat, you have potential there to make nice body composition changes, all right, and tone up from that, all right? But again, dealing with fatty liver yourself, hopefully you're speaking with your medical practitioner, and then hopefully you can get some nice value out of foods that you want to eat and foods that you can avoid. Skinny fat might try cutting processed sugars, adding high quality proteins and veggies, and doing resistance training or lifting weights. Heavier lifting might help displace fat with muscle. Okay, so Justin brings up an important point. All right, the thing that we want to do, if we want to lose fat, all right, losing body fat, yes, resistance training definitely helps. All right, it can help with toning. All right, if we want to lose fat, remember we have to be in a calorie deficit. All right. You have to be in a calorie deficit in order to lose fat. Resistance training is going to help by adding more muscle. 1, you're going to be increasing your metabolism. 2, you're going to be burning more and more calories throughout the day. So you're going to be burning some of the fat. All right, body composition changes. That's what I mean. Body composition changes, when I say that, just means losing fat, putting on a little bit more muscle. All right. Again, I think the biggest one is, just dropping the sugars. Again, do you have to cut carbs out completely? Absolutely not. All right, but sugars for sure. All right, 100%. Getting good protein in there, absolutely, and good veggies. So what Justin's saying, adds up. And again, it can be heavier lifting as long as you're getting your resistance training in there. All right, resistance training is a big one. But again, exercise more. Again, the important things, guys, is, it doesn't have to be perfect. All right, don't think about perfect when it comes even to exercise. We just want to make sure that we're shooting for that 150 minutes so that we're not living a sedentary lifestyle. And remember, there's so many other health benefits that come from getting that exercise in. Heart health, liver health, as we know here, that we've already talked about. One of the healthiest things you can do is exercise, guys. You 5X. There's been studies, Dr. Dave Attia, all right, Attia, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, as we see the most important thing that we can do for our overall health, one of the best things that we can do is exercise. All right, we see through data you can 5X your health, all right, where as opposed to losing weight, stopping smoking, stopping drinking, even getting more sleep, all right, you're getting usually a maximum of around 3Xing your health. So exercise, we know, very, very important, and we know if we want to reverse fatty liver disease, one of the most important things we can do is exercise, all right, and exercise more if you can, all right. A lot of the times people will recommend something like 60 minutes of physical activity a day. That's a lot. Don't start with that. All right, I would start with something like 15 to 20, 25 minutes of walking every single day and build that up. I was told that fructose is bad for non-fatty liver. So I only use organic honey in my herbal tea. I am feeling sick. I replace, okay. Is that good? I think that's really good. I think that's great, Sweet Cakes. It's funny, as I'm reading that, all right, kind of things that, and Angela, welcome to the chat. Good morning to you. I hope you're doing well, Angela. And again, big shout out to you, Angela. Thank you so much as a member of the channel, the Fit Team member. Angela, great to see you in there. And, awesome questions, Sweet Cakes. But big shout out to Angela. Always love giving a big shout out to my members, the individuals who have signed up as Fit Team members. So great to see you, Angela. I hope you're having a good morning, and thank you for joining me. So Sweet Cakes, that's a great question. Thank you so much for asking that. Okay, fructose, all right. I always say more veggies than fruit, guys. More veggies than fruit, all right. You can have your 1 to 2 servings a day of fruit. All right, I think that's more than enough. All right, remember, fructose is a type of sugar. That's why we want to keep it in moderation. So, all right, so I only use organic honey. Now, remember, organic honey is really just a sweetener substitute. All right, it's the same thing. Organic or non-organic, still going to be a sweetener substitute. All right, it's the same thing with like agave. Things like that. It might spike that blood sugar up a little bit. So if you're feeling sick, herbal tea, very nice. All right, I think that's great. Herbal tea, green tea is nice. Adding a little bit of honey to green tea, 100% fine. Make sure it's in moderation. But the fact that you replaced it with stevia, I think that's nice. All right, I think that's good because what you're doing is you're cutting down the sugars. All right, you're cutting out some of the calories as well. All right, because remember, right, one of the risk factors or causes, all right, one, we know high blood sugar. All right, not that I'm saying that you have pre-diabetes or type 2 diabetes or that you're even high in sugar, but we know anyone dealing with hyperglycemia is going to be more at risk for non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, but you're reducing some of the sugar. There's sugar, all right, in non-organic honey. All right, we need to make sure that we are aware of that, guys, because honey is amazing. I'm a huge fan of organic honey. All right, so let's just make sure that we're realizing that. So I think that's great, Sweet Cakes. I like that you're replacing it with stevia. Stevia is a nice sweetener. All right, I think if you're going to go with any replacement, I think stevia is one of your best ones. So great job. Iodine can definitely help. All right. Iodine is important for thyroid health. Absolutely. I could do a whole chat on thyroid health. One of the things that I'm reading most on right now is the circulatory system and the endocrine system. So, thyroid, part of that endocrine system. All right. Absolutely very important. Iodine, but just make sure, I like you talking to your medical practitioner if you're dealing with hypothyroidism. All right. Sometimes, yes, we can add that tablespoon of seaweed and things like that because you're getting nice levels of iodine, which is going to be good. All right, we just want to make sure the dosage is correct. We want to make sure we're getting a good dosage of iodine, and then also making sure sometimes, unfortunately, all right, nutrition is going to help. Sometimes you might have to go on medication. As unfortunate as that is, I know a lot of people are not too excited to go the medication route. They like to do it the natural, preventative ways, as I always like to do as well, but sometimes we just might have to. But great point, Justin. Visceral fat, absolutely not good. A lot of times we hold a lot of visceral fat, too, as you're saying, in our belly, in the stomachs, in the belly area, and that's going to have a lot of risk factors in increasing heart disease. So visceral fat just means the fat underneath the skin, right, that we'll have to burn, and the fat that's around our organs. All right, so obviously underneath the skin, all right, but tends to be around the organs as well. Glucose is great. Wild rice, oats, fructose adds fat to the liver, though. Yeah, you guys are bringing up a lot of good points. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up here. Avoid all fructose if you have fatty liver, including fruits. Try carnivore diet for 1 month to detox your liver. Oh, you guys are going back and forth a little bit on carnivore diet. That's okay. It's good sometimes. All right, going back and forth. As I always like to say, all right, depending on, the type of diet that you're on, all right, all can be good. Some might not work for everyone. It's important that you try some of the diets so that way you know if it's good for you or bad. And remember, you can go on a carnivore diet and change it up just a little bit. So you can still get some fiber in there. All right, if you are taking a supplement for fiber, it's the same thing with keto. All right, I'm not at the super high levels that most people are at for a ketogenic diet with my training. All right, so Justin, it sounds like we have a little bit of a similar background in terms of weightlifting and things like that. But because of my background and my goals, my protein is a little bit higher. Bison. No, I never tried bison, but it's something I'm always on the lookout for. Angela, that's okay. No worries. We always start super early here. So, getting here on that 7 a.m. time can be tough. But the important thing is you're here, and it's great to see you, Angela. Always appreciate having you here. All right, perfect, sweet cakes. What about raw sugar? Raw sugar, the same thing, all right? That's a great question, Gloria. Raw sugar, the same thing. Yes, it's going to be, you're not going to get quite as high as, it's lower GI, so it's not going to increase your glucose levels and then also insulin levels, because remember, if we're taking in sugar and carbohydrates, we're increasing both glucose and insulin, because glucose and insulin will become your energy source. All right, but again, raw sugar over normal sugar, yes, but remember, we're still going to get that increase, right? We're still going to get that blood sugar increase just a little bit, or blood glucose, all right, increase just a little bit as well. All right, if I was to recommend raw sugar over stevia, I'd probably go with stevia, all right? But raw sugar in moderation. I'm definitely not saying never have raw sugar. Right? I'm just saying make sure you try to keep it in moderation. Sugar equals glucose plus fructose. So what Toom's talking about there is disaccharides and saccharides. All right, when it comes to sugar, that's a whole different discussion. No sugar, very little fat. Sometimes oats, herbal teas, beans. Fell short with exercise but started back. That's awesome, Kathleen. I think exercise is very good. All right, We've had an interesting chat with sweeteners and with proteins and different diets. Good for you guys. Sorry, I apologize. Sometimes it's hard for me to keep up with everything that you guys are chatting about here. But, it's awesome that we're having that chat. Thank you so much for the engagement, guys. That's the whole point of these chats. Okay, so we know that one of the best things you can do is exercise, all right? I don't think I have to hit that point any much more. We need to make sure that we're getting in at least a little bit of exercise, okay? One of the important things, all right, if we want to improve, all right, liver disease, fatty liver disease, a combination of nutrition, which we're about to get into, all right, and exercise, because we want some weight loss as well. Those are healthy practices we can do that can immediately start to make changes for fatty liver disease, guys, and even reversing fatty liver disease, all right, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. The other important thing, last one, right before we get into it, all right, is getting more sleep. All right, sleep apnea is actually a risk factor, all right, for fatty liver disease. So not getting enough sleep during the night, and we know that a lot of individuals are chronically sleep deprived. You want to try to get anywhere from 7 to 8, 6 to 8 being kind of your low end, 6 being your low end, at least 6 hours, all right, but seeing if you can get that 7 to 8 hours of sleep, all right, and if you're dealing with sleep apnea, that can put you at risk, or at least increase the risk of developing non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, guys. So sleep apnea being one of the other ones. So getting more sleep, all right. We know, all right, in studies, conditions where you're going to have obstructive sleep apnea, all right, can actually not only increase the risk, but worsen liver disease. And the reason why, people will always ask me why when I bring that up. How come, sleep or sleep apnea, how's that going to affect my liver? Well, the reason that it does is because you're decreasing the amount of oxygen that's being supplied to the liver. Okay, so obstructive diseases when it comes to our breathing, our sleeping, right? Like obstructive sleep apnea, you're lowering the oxygen supply to the liver. Okay, we want to make sure we're getting good oxygen, good circulation. So people who are having sleep problems, all right, talk to your medical practitioner about that. A lot of the times people will say, in order to reverse that, you want to get 9 hours of sleep. All right, I've seen in a lot of studies 7 to 8 is fine. It's hard to get 9 hours of sleep, especially in the world that we live in. All right, you can do a great job going from, if you're having 4 or 5 hours of sleep, just increasing that to 7 and then eventually 8, you can get some good benefits of reversing non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, whatever it is that you're dealing with. All right, so try to see if you can increase sleep, because remember, or if you have sleep apnea, make sure you speak with your medical practitioner. This is why it's so important. The very first thing I said, all right, speak with your medical practitioner. You need to know your medical history, and that's why it's hard for me, and why I never diagnose over chats. All right, it would have to be a one-on-one consultation where we actually talk. We can talk about some of the, your health history and things that you might be going through. All right, one of the things that could be leading to fatty liver disease, or at least some of the signs and symptoms, all right, and possible actually having the disease, is obstructive sleep apnea, right? Diminishing oxygen supply to the liver. So it's important to know that health background. Same thing with an underactive thyroid, same thing with the underactive pituitary gland, right? Hard for me to diagnose that over chat, but those are some of the things that we want to make sure that we're aware of, guys. Okay, now the other thing is you might supplement with certain foods, and or certain nutrients. All right, vitamin E would be a common one. All right, for people who are having liver issues. I'd say another one, milk thistle, healthy for your liver. All right, that's another good one. Those are all well and good because they can detox the liver, but you need to do that in combination with good nutrition and good exercise. The reason why I say that, guys, is because you can add all the milk thistle and all the vitamin E, whatever it is, supplements that might get recommended to you through consulting, and either by a nutritionist, all right, or through healthcare provider, whoever it is. All right, you can add all of that, but if we're still dealing with obesity and we don't address the obesity, you're still at risk of developing fatty liver. All right, if you have hypothyroidism, underactive pituitary gland, metabolic syndrome, high cholesterol, high triglyceride levels, all right, if we don't make those changes and address that, you can add all the vitamin E in the world. All right, if you're sedentary, if you're not getting in that exercise, you're still going to be putting yourself at a higher risk. So we want to make sure that we're dealing with those as well, the risk factors, and then using the supplements in combination, all right, with dealing with those risk factors. Like I always say, add all the vitamin E you want. It's going to be very, very tough, all right, to reverse fatty liver disease if we don't address those. Rupal, great to have you in chat. Been listening, just cooking. That's awesome, Rupal. Cook away, my friend, all right. Great having you in here as always, Rupal. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining. I like North Star Bison. I think I've heard of that before, Justin. 100% grass-fed. Yep, I would always go that way, 100%. All right. Things like eggs, which means as added. Yes, exactly. Vitamin K2. All right, especially with eggs as well. Okay, so we've had discussions about vitamin K2 before, guys. Egg yolks, all right, so the whole egg, not just, a lot of people will just tend to go for the egg whites because there's no fat. We want the yolks. That's where all of the nutrition is. Hard to get vitamin K2 into our diets. Very easy to get vitamin K, your cruciferous vegetables, all right. Just looking at this, at our picture here, Brussels sprouts, all right. I think I see broccoli, might even be some spinach on there, all right. That's where you're going to get your vitamin K. I think that, and even blueberries, actually. Easier to get vitamin K, all right, like K1. Harder to get vitamin K2. Eggs, like I mentioned in a previous chat, all right, a nice, easy way. Another way to get vitamin K2 into your diet. You could always supplement it, all right, but you want to have fermented foods, all right, like sauerkraut. We mentioned that before, so we don't need to go over it too much. All right, so vitamin K2, I think very, very important right now. Vitamin D, vitamin K2, and zinc right now, guys. I'm recommending it for all my clients. I would recommend it to you guys for its immune system boosting effects right now. I think that's tremendous. Just make sure your dosages are correct, okay? Especially for you. It's going to change from person to person. And the studies that come out, we see varying degrees of how much vitamin D3 we should be taking, how much zinc, all right? It's going to depend on whether you're female or male, all right? How much vitamin K2 to get the benefits of papayas. That's awesome, Angela. A lot of benefits from papayas when it comes to nutrition and everything like that. Again, Angela, the only thing I would say with papayas, like I said, tremendous fruits. But unfortunately, papayas are one of the fruits that, I normally can't have and I usually have to stay away from. Same thing with pineapple, same thing with mango. It's just a little bit higher in fructose, a little bit higher in sugar. All right? But for you, if you're having it in moderation, tremendous health benefits of papayas. I've done many videos on papayas, even papaya seeds. So whenever I say that I can't have it or I'm not having a certain food, again, it's an individualized basis. Each individual is going to be different. All right, some people can tolerate that a little bit more. Just know you're going to have a little bit more fructose in papayas than you would in something like your berries. Berries are going to be lower. They're on the lower end. Papayas would be somewhere on the higher end. But lots of health benefits with papayas, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, and that's not to say never have papayas, Angela. Just be aware. All right, I just throw that out there just so you know exactly what's going into your body. Just know it's a little bit higher on the sugars. Right, but again, if we're keeping it in moderation, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just sensitive to the sugar. Like I can't have grapes. I can't have pineapple. I have a bunch of pineapple in my fridge right now. And I actually, even oranges to a certain extent, all right? Mangoes for sure, can't have any of that, all right? Things that are a little bit higher in fructose. I think that's why keto works so well for me. And again, remember, I'm just going to be on keto for 3 to 4 months. It's not like I'm going to be doing keto for the rest of my life. I'm very happy on it right now, though. And just because it's good for me, I'll tell a lot of clients, all right, right now we're in lockdown, so I'm actually, not in a gym, working, doing consultations with people on a, person-to-person basis, face-to-face, doing them more so online. But what I'll tell people, when I tell them, yes, I'm doing keto right now, they'll always ask me, well, should I be doing keto? Well, again, you do what works for you. There's a lot of diets out there, a lot of diets that work for you. Keto probably, right, for a vast majority, it's very hard for people to get into ketosis. Right? It's hard for them to stick to that diet. It's very restrictive. Right? The one thing that I don't give up, though, is berries. Right? That's the only fruit that I'm having right now, and I have to measure. It's 3/4 of a cup that I only allow myself per day, and it's usually raspberries, blackberries, or strawberries. I'm even staying away from blueberries on keto. But it's those three just because they're highest in fiber, very low in carbohydrates, and so my net carbs are very low on those fruits. But again, enough of me and my diet. So let's talk a little bit about some foods that we want to include in our diet. And again, diet just means the foods we're eating. All right. I know that obesity and being overweight and things like that can be a risk factor for fatty liver disease. But when you hear me talk about diet, I'm not talking about foods that are going to necessarily help you to lose weight. When I say diet, I just mean the foods that you're eating on a day-to-day basis. Okay. So we already know non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, all right? Again, one of the most common causes, again, it's going to be the proportion of individuals who are dealing with it. Highest, yes, in the United States, where we know through studies that United States has the highest levels, all right? But again, it's very similar in Canada. You're getting higher and higher rates in Europe and even in the west and eastern areas of the world as well, all right? Remember, excess fat stored in the liver where it's not broken down, all right, can lead to psoriasis, liver failure if left untreated, okay? So let's think of some of the foods. We already talked about some of the risk factors and causes, all right? One thing that we want to make sure that we're getting a lot of, guys, if we want to help reverse or if we want to prevent fatty liver disease, all right? One of the first things, make sure you're drinking enough water. All right, again, we don't want to be chronically dehydrated. We know a large proportion of individuals are chronically dehydrated. If you're listening right now and you think about how much water you're drinking on a day-to-day basis, one, you might not even know, or two, if you do know, it might be a little bit low. It's like a cup in the morning, maybe 1 cup at nighttime. But I always say this during my consultations, all right, and I always like pointing out to you guys, when it comes to nutrition and it comes to reducing the risk of chronic diseases, all right, before we even get to nutrition, and water can be part of nutrition, but before we get into the foods, right, I always like to say, make sure your water intake is adequate and make sure your sleep is adequate, okay? It all starts with water and with sleep. Those are the most important things that we can do, all right? So make sure that you're getting enough water, guys. The other important thing that we want to make sure that we're adding to our diet. So these are foods that we want to eat, not avoid, okay? We want to make sure that we're having cruciferous or leafy green vegetables in our diet, all right? One, there's studies that are coming out, all right, all the time. Even as early as last year, there was a huge study that came out, all right? Leafy green vegetables can help to fight against fatty liver disease, all right? Now, one study was with spinach, but you're going to get a lot of the same benefits from all cruciferous vegetables, all leafy green vegetables. Doesn't matter if it's spinach, kale, broccoli, all of that great stuff, all right? Spinach in this case was found to be very beneficial, all right? But a big study we found, all right, that eating spinach or dark leafy green vegetables can specifically, the spinach here, specifically lower the risk of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. This is why I sometimes want to say just fatty liver disease, easier to say, all right? And again, in leafy green vegetables, you're going to have some distinct compounds that are going to help fight against fatty liver disease and give you the possibility of reversing fatty liver disease, all right, and prevent fatty liver disease from occurring in the first place. One, all right, you have potent polyphenol or polyphenol. Remember, sometimes people pronounce some of these compounds differently. I say polyphenols. Those are distinct potent antioxidants that are found in leafy green vegetables. All right, so you're getting great antioxidants. Remember, one of the causes or one of the things that we want to stay away from, all right, especially with fatty liver disease, is inflammation in the liver. Those sort of potent and strong polyphenol antioxidants are going to reduce inflammation. All right, the other thing is healthy nitrates. All right, healthy nitrates. All right, not to be confused with nitrates that you would have from things like processed meats. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Hopefully you can still hear me. If you can still hear me in chat, sorry, my software just crashed there for a second, but it looks like we're back up and running. If you guys can just give me a thumbs up if you can still hear me in chat, that would be greatly appreciated. But it looks like we're going strong now. I know that we reconnected, so it's happened before, and it didn't seem like there was any issues and things like that. But just give me a thumbs up, guys, if you can hear me in chat. That'd be perfect. Then we can keep going right into our foods. All right. So first one, leafy green vegetables can help to prevent fat buildup in the liver, specifically things like spinach. All right, because these dark leafy green vegetables have nitrates, healthy nitrates, and those strong, potent polyphenol antioxidants and other antioxidants. So if we think about polyphenols being healthy, thank you for the thumbs up, guys. All right, perfect. You can still hear me. Okay, great. I saw it crash there. We're back. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for letting me know. Sweet Cakes, Angela, and Tomb. Thank you so much, guys. Justin, thank you so much. So there you go, polyphenols and olive oil. See, olive oil I think is very, very nice. All right. With olive oil, no, you're not going to be getting very much nutrients from olive oil. Thank you, Gloria. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you for giving me the thumbs up. I'm glad that it's working properly here now. With olive oil, nice healthy fats, good monounsaturated fats, good monounsaturated fats, low unsaturated and trans fats. It really shines in its antioxidants. All right, not a lot of nutrients in olive oil. Maybe some vitamin E in there. All right, again, which is important for fatty liver. All right, but you're also going to be getting a lot of antioxidants, polyphenols. All right, that's where it really shines. It's antioxidants and it's healthy fats. So hopefully you guys heard that. If I need to repeat just real quick because I know it crashed. All right, leafy green vegetables. The nitrates and the polyphenols found in leafy green vegetables, very important because it can specifically lower the risk of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Okay. Now let me just also give you another important tip. All right, and this is why I like being able to talk to you live. All right, yes, we can have these dark leafy green vegetables like spinach, kale, all of that stuff. We want to try to have them raw as much as possible. Okay, the reason why is because raw is going to have the highest amounts of antioxidant and antioxidant activity. So if we can have them raw, you can put them in a smoothie. That's a nice easy way of doing it. All right, put them in a smoothie, but try not to have them cooked to get the most benefits specifically for fatty liver disease, guys. You can have them other ways if you want to cook them. That's 100% okay. But if we want to reduce and avoid fatty liver disease, then having them raw is one of the best things that we can do. Have them raw as often as possible. Well, yes, Justin, absolutely. Right, yeah, yes, Justin, absolutely. Yeah, walnuts. If you listen to the discussions on here, the lives, walnuts are one of my favorite nut varieties, especially because of its omega-3s. All right, very high in omega-3 fatty acids. All right, and one of the few plant sources, all right, so non-fatty fish sources of omega-3s. Okay, so make sure that we're getting our leafy green vegetables, guys. And I appreciate you all. 38 thumbs up. Like I say, I always miss them by 10 now. You guys are thumbing up the chat so much. I really appreciate it. We've been going for an hour and 10 minutes strong here, by the way, guys. Thank you so much. All right, I'll just quickly point out, thank you for the support. Thank you for coming in here, guys, on a Wednesday morning. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. If you want to become a member of the Fit team, where you're getting, there's going to be a lot of perks. I've already mentioned to some people there's going to be 3 books that are coming out. I can actually let you guys know what they are. All right, we have an nutrition guide that's coming out. I'm already working on that. There's going to be a weight loss step by step. All right, book that's going to be coming up, ebooks that are going to be available, especially to our Fit Team members by hitting that join button and becoming a Fit Team member. All right, and then there's also going to be a beginning resistance training book that's coming out for anyone and everyone that wants to get into resistance training. The first one that's going to be coming out is my ultimate guide to nutrition. All right, simple tips for big results. All right, I think you guys are really going to like that. A great, working on that daily, so I can't wait to get that out for you guys. All right, and our members are going to get special features for that. So hitting that join button, a great way of supporting the channel, but also perks for you guys getting those products. The ultimate nutrition guide, which is coming out, can't wait for you guys to get it. And again, a lot of research going into it, just like all the videos. All right, but also some of my philosophical takes on nutrition. All right, why is it important? Why it's important to take it as a step-by-step approach. All right, thinking of it as a marathon and not a sprint. All right, so like Angela, we had Sonia in here. Deborah's been in before. Mary, I can't remember if Mary was in here. I apologize, Mary. But other Fit Team members getting those perks. If you can help the channel out by hitting that join button, greatly appreciated. But it's great just to have you here, have you guys answering and engaging with me. All right, the other way to support the channel, because I never want to do a Patreon, all right, is the super chat function here on YouTube in our live chats. So by clicking that join button, again, Ultimate Nutrition Guide is coming out. Our members are going to be getting good discounts on that, all right, and then also do the super chat function. Greatly appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And those are our 2 ways. If you can, greatly appreciated hitting that join button and becoming a Fit Team member, and through our super chat function. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let's keep moving on here. Any of the nutrition experts are 100% legit all the time. Every has a dark side where they are either naive or something. Okay, sounds like you guys are talking about some other people in chat. I'll leave it to you guys. Usually I don't like talking about other people. I don't watch any of their videos, never even heard of these individuals that you're talking about, so I don't really have any comments on those. I usually just kind of stick to my own research. There's a couple really, really good people that I like out there, and I stick to that. Okay, so, and a lot of people will give, there's varying advice out there. All right, a lot of times when it comes to nutrition, varying advice. I stick to my own. I do my own research, and there's a handful of individuals who I really respect, who I've even gotten in touch with. So we'll just leave it at that. So greens, guys. If we want to help reverse fatty liver disease, lower the risk of fatty liver disease, vegetables, especially your leafy green vegetables, are imperative. Try to get those in as much as possible. The next, guys, is fatty fish. We've talked a little bit about omega-3s. You guys know that I love omega-3s. Thank you, Justin. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, Justin, saying that. So the next ones, guys, is going to be omega-3 fatty acids, all right? And this is an interesting one because it would seem almost counterintuitive what I'm telling you guys, that we want to reduce fat buildup in the liver. So why is Coach Nate saying we should be adding foods that are high in omega-3s, which is a fat? Well, you guys know here on Foods for Health, Coach Nate, I love omega-3s. I think they're very underrated. All right. I think people are low in omega-3s. The ratio between omega-3s and omega-6s is off. Remember, we want that healthy ratio, so we need to focus on omega-3s because it's much easier to get omega-6s in our diet, polyunsaturated fats, than it is for omega-3s. Sometimes we have to be cognizant what foods are high in omega-3s, or do we need to supplement in omega-3s? I use supplements and a little bit of getting it from walnuts, like we mentioned, getting it from salmon, sardines, mackerel. All right, a lot of the times you see tuna getting thrown in there. I'm not exactly sure why. Why tuna gets thrown in there? There's not a ton of omega-3 fatty acids, I guess, depending on the tuna that you have. But I'll be honest, your best bet if you're wanting high omega-3s coming from fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, and sardines. All right, and then fish oil supplementation. All right, tuna, yes, a lot of protein. All right, but the omega-3s are a lot lower in tuna than it is in salmon, and quite a bit lower. Okay, so why do we want fats in our diet, and especially omega-3 fatty acids, if we want to reduce fat in the liver? Well, here's the great thing. Looking at the research and a bunch of different studies that I've looked at, right? What we're seeing is, and why I'm suggesting to you, either through supplementation or eating salmon, like sockeye salmon, like Angela is saying here, right? Sockeye salmon, all that great stuff, right? Getting those omega-3 fatty acids can actually benefit those individuals already with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, because it can actually reduce fat in the liver, which is amazing. So these omega-3 fatty acids can actually work to reduce fat in the liver. All right, so tremendous. We can start reversing, all right, fatty liver disease. And we already know that the risk factors and even the causes of fatty liver disease is going to be high cholesterol, all right, high cholesterol, and also especially high triglyceride levels, because remember, triglyceride levels is the amount of fat in your blood. All right, so we want to reduce triglycerides. What omega-3s do, so fatty fish, fish oil supplementation, omega-3 supplementation, you're going to help lower triglyceride levels, so you're reducing one of the risk factors, and you're also going to boost HDL cholesterol. All right, now the studies didn't say too much about reducing LDL cholesterol, but the important thing is you're increasing HDL cholesterol, which in and of itself, remember, that's your good cholesterol, is going to help regulate and lower LDL cholesterol if you're high in it. All right, so if you have high cholesterol, it's going to help to regulate and give you the protective effects, which is associated with lowering high cholesterol levels. All right, so it's tremendous. Omega-3s reduce fat in the liver. All right, for those individuals with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, even if you don't have it, all right, it's going to have protective measures, reducing the risk of buildup of fat in the liver. Also, it's going to increase HDL cholesterol, which is going to help protect against high cholesterol, protect against the buildup, or protect against an increase or having high LDL cholesterol, your bad LDL cholesterol, and it's going to lower triglyceride levels, all of which are risk factors for fatty liver disease, guys. Yes, sockeye salmon in moderation. Yep, that's great, Angela. Hopped up on my Justin. The celery, you just got your boost of energy. The deep massage yesterday said, say I'm supposed to let my muscles rest. Yep, absolutely. Be on the treadmill right now. Good for you, Justin. Working out in the morning. That's usually when I do it as well. Yes, some of those cans are full of sodium, 100%. That's a great point, Angela. Same thing with tuna. Any canned foods or anything like that, you're probably going to have a little bit more sodium, preservatives, things like that. So I think moderation is key. Also, just be careful with any canned fish or anything like that, mercury levels. That's why I would never, I never usually promote having tuna every single day, especially canned tuna, just because it could be a little bit higher in mercury, which we want to stay away from if we can. So moderation is great, Angela. Sounds like everything you're doing is tremendous. And you're getting good omega-3s from that salmon. So great job. Kathleen, thank you for information. Have to leave now. That's okay. Have to commitment to attend. All right, no problem at all, Kathleen. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate always seeing you in chat, Kathleen. So thank you so much for joining. Okay, guys, let's continue with the foods here. So fish, fatty fish, and specifically omega-3 fatty acids. That's what we want to focus on. All right, now the next one, all right, and you guys, you've heard me talk about this a number of different times. All right, there's a number of different videos that are on the channel. All right, these are the foods again that we want to eat. One of the best ones that we can have, a spice, turmeric. All right, we know that turmeric can reduce liver damage. All right, especially, all right, because of its main bioactive compound, curcumin, which in and of itself acts as a very, very potent antioxidant. Okay, so we know this active ingredient, curcumin, all right, can reduce liver damage, or at least reduce markers of liver damage of people who are dealing with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And if you don't have fatty liver disease, it has preventative effects, all right, which we want. Remember, I'm very, very pro preventative effects in any different type of chronic disease, all right, whether it be heart disease, diabetes, fatty liver disease, immune system health. Take anchovies, absolutely. That's the other fatty fish. Thank you, Toom, for pointing that out. I was trying to remember the other one. I didn't write them all down because I usually have the good list there, but I'm glad you pointed out anchovies. So salmon, salmon, mackerel, sardines, anchovies, those are your best ones. Anchovies are in my fish oil supplement. All right, let's continue there. That's just one I was trying to remember in Toom. You put it right there for me. Thank you for the reminder. But curcumin is great, guys. Curcumin, turmeric, great for reducing liver damage and for reducing the risk of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and reversing as well. Because if we're reversing, all right, if it's having benefits for liver damage, we're starting to reverse the effects of fatty liver disease. All right, so very, very important. We want to make sure that we're getting, we also know that it has numerous enzymes in it and numerous compounds, right, that are going to be very, very effective for individuals that have high levels of fat in the liver or who have fatty liver disease. All right, you can say of people who have high levels of fat in the liver, what you're basically saying is individuals who have fatty liver disease. Turmeric needs black pepper to make it work well. Absolutely. The absorption rate of curcumin goes way up. All right, and that's what the black pepper is for. It's for curcumin. All right, the absorption of curcumin. The other important, I just did a video on this, so it's nice timing too, and it's great that you're saying that. All right, the thing is with turmeric and curcumin, if you want better absorption, not only black pepper is a great one, so you can definitely pair it up with black pepper. Another nice one, though, is pairing it up with a healthy fat like avocados. We know now through studies that healthy fats can actually help increase the absorption of curcumin in the body. Right? So those are other ways of doing it as well. Black pepper, is the tried, tested, and true. We know for sure, but now we're seeing more and more studies where pairing it up with a fat can actually help as well. One of my favorites is, nuts and seeds or avocados. Avocados have been shown to give great benefits in increasing the absorption rate of curcumin. So great point. So to get these benefits for fatty liver disease, make sure if you want those benefits from turmeric, pair it up with black pepper or with a healthy fat. All right, and we know that turmeric is great for our liver because it can help to reduce damage and reverse damage. All right, also we know it has curcumin, all right, which is great because it can reduce inflammation, one of the best anti-inflammatories out there, reduce inflammation in the liver as well, and the entire body for that matter. But remember, inflammation causes damage. Damage over time can lead to liver disease, can lead to cirrhosis, all right? Also, we know it has two important enzymes, I can't remember who brought up ALT before. So ALT, all right, I'll try to pronounce it off the top of my head. Serum alanine aminotransferase, I believe. So, someone brought up ALT. I can't remember. It might have been YouTube, but I believe that's what ALT is standing for. All right, it's just short form for serum alanine aminotransferase. It's the T that's getting me. All right, but we also know it's important for that reason as well. Smoke. Okay. Good fats. That's good stuff too. North Star. Yeah, you like that. The bison. You definitely lift weights, don't you, Justin? Because my weightlifters, the people who are lifting weights in chat and who I deal with, love bison. It's a nice lean, good bioavailability for bison. All right, with protein. So I know that you definitely lift. I actually think smoked canned oysters taste a little better than sardines. Okay, so try to have your turmeric, pair it up with black pepper, pair it up with a fatty fish, okay, guys? Or not, you can do it with fatty fish, any fat, all right? Well, avocado's a nice one. Nuts and seeds are a nice one as well. Now, that's kind of a nice little segue into our next types of foods, all right, that are going to help. Other foods that you want in your diet, guys, if we want to reduce the risk of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, is a diet that's rich in nut varieties, all right, and seeds. We'll get to seeds here in a second. Now, things like almonds, things like walnuts, all right, and it can really be, and there's a ton of nut varieties out there. Pistachios, pecans, and again, pecans, pecans, all right, I say pecans. Sometimes I'll say pecans. You might hear me say it back and forth. But those types of nut varieties, very important for helping, one, to reduce inflammation. All right, because remember, inflammation is the big one. Inflammation over time is going to lead to a lot of chronic diseases, and one could be fatty liver disease. If we have inflammation, high levels of inflammation, coupled with the buildup of fat in the liver, all right, you're putting yourself at risk of damage to the liver, developing fatty liver disease, all right, and then things like cirrhosis, of the liver, all right. So we need to make sure that reducing inflammation. The other nice things about things like almonds, walnuts, all right, you're reducing free radicals and oxidative stress, again, which can lead to lower levels, all right, and lower risks of fatty liver disease. Also, insulin resistance. Remember, we said that was a risk factor for fatty liver. All right, fatty liver disease. All right, so nuts are tremendous. Now, we also saw there's been a ton of studies on this, guys. So if we're increasing the varieties of nuts that we're consuming, again, almonds, walnuts are some of my favorites. Pecans are some of my favorites. I think they're tremendous. All right, tons of health benefits, very anti-inflammatory. A huge study that's come out, and tons of studies out there, show this, that you can significantly lower the risk of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. All right, walnuts was the big one. That's why I always say almonds and walnuts are my favorite. I think they're tremendous. All right, but you can get a lot of different varieties out there. There's nothing wrong with pistachios, nothing wrong with pecans, okay? And there's more that I'm probably just not thinking of off the top of my head. Macadamia nuts, things like that. A lot of health benefits for that. Just make sure that you're having them in moderation, because they are a little bit higher in fat. And again, that's not my main concern, all right? It's healthy fat, so it's good for our liver. But all right, one of the important things is we just want to keep calories in check, because obesity and being overweight can be one of the major risk factors, and is probably one of the biggest risk factors for fatty liver disease. All right. Now, we also know that with walnuts, all right, and other type of nut varieties, but walnuts specifically can improve liver function. All right. Very, very important. All right, because that can help with the breakdown of fat in the liver. All right, so nut varieties, guys, huge fan of that. I think that is imperative to reducing fatty liver disease. Okay, so walnuts are a big one, but you can get almonds, pistachios, pecans. I think those are some of the best ones that you can do. If I was going to rank top 3, almonds, walnuts, pecans. All right, great for reducing the risk of fatty liver disease. Okay, now I already mentioned seeds, so let's get into seeds. Probably one of your best ones, guys, is going to be sunflower seeds. All right, there's a number of reasons why that we've seen in studies that sunflower seeds specifically can help to improve and decrease the risk of fatty liver disease. All right, what sunflower seeds are particularly high in, all right, and what we like about sunflower seeds is that, one, they're very high in antioxidants. And again, remember how I talked about supplementation when we were talking about lifestyle changes that we can make, having to do with exercise, having to do with sleep, and then some supplementation, and then maybe medication if you need to. That's why you need to speak with your medical practitioner. But sunflower seeds are high in vitamin E. All right. Vitamin E, again, like I said, supplementing, often used sometimes in the treatment of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So if you're not supplementing with it, and if you're adding sunflower seeds to your diet, then you're going to be getting good levels of vitamin E. Olive oil would probably be another one, but sunflower seeds much higher, all right, and lower in calories and better macronutrients. Christine, great to have you in chat. Thank you so much. Always appreciate having you in chat, Christine. Thank you very much for joining. I really appreciate it. Nice and early on a Wednesday. Jeez, you guys are... Sorry if I'm missing some comments here. You guys are talking about your gym. How much do you... Oh, the gym bros are in chat. That's awesome, guys. Deadlift, bench press. Okay, so sunflower seeds. High in vitamin E. All right. We found, all right, and again, when I'm talking about supplementation, guys, I don't just throw vitamin E out there lightly, and I don't just pick vitamin E because it's an antioxidant and we want to reduce inflammation. Vitamin E is well researched in its connection to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and its benefits, because remember, all right, if you're dealing with it, it's one of the nutrients that are probably going to be prescribed to you to try to increase. All right, we saw that vitamin E consumption, all right, is a nice natural way to decrease the risk of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. All right, great starting point. Increase your vitamin E. Sunflower seeds is the way to go, because not only do they have high levels of vitamin E, but they're high in antioxidants, all right, in general. So other antioxidants, all right, going back to your polyphenols, flavonoids, plant compounds, things of that nature. And remember, we want those anti-inflammatories, antioxidants, all right? That way we can kind of flush out, all right, and not have to deal with the risk factors of fatty liver disease. Justin. I always do the replay after you finish up, but at least I can say hi. That's great, Christine. I appreciate you saying hi, and I appreciate you watching the replay after. That's awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And thank you everyone that's in chat. You know, so many individuals. You guys are literally, I have to congratulate you, honestly. You have to be in the top 1% of individuals waking up so early. Even if you're listening, you know, I know that there's individuals listening in like Australia, all right, staying up late, all right, maybe the middle of the day, wherever you're listening from, all right, you are in a chat right now discussing what to eat and what not to eat for fatty liver disease. You are focused on your health. Congratulations to you. Big shout out to everyone who's in chat, who was in chat, who's going to listen to this later. Focused on your health for 2022, because that's our main focus for this year, guys. Fatty liver disease, we know, is on the rise. We know fatty liver disease, right? A lot of it is caused by, one, poor nutrition, poor lifestyle, all right, and living a sedentary lifestyle. So that's part of a poor lifestyle. Maybe not enough sleep, maybe obesity, things like that. High triglycerides, high cholesterol, heart disease, metabolic syndrome, a bunch of other things. But we know that it's connected with all of that. So we're learning, all right, and big shout out to you guys, because you guys are interested in that. You want to get healthy. So big shout out to you guys. And big shout out, thank you so much for all the thumbs up. We're at 42. So I really, really appreciate that. But if you're going to pick a seed variety, all right, we know walnuts are especially important, but there's a lot of nut varieties out there like almonds, walnuts in particular, macadamia nut, pistachios, Brazil nuts to a lesser degree. Remember, if you're having Brazil nuts, 1-3 maximum. I stick to like 1 or 2 just because of the selenium levels. All right, but sunflower seeds are probably your best bet when it comes to seeds, just because of their high vitamin E, high antioxidants, and we've seen in multiple studies that it can help to actually reduce the risk and actually be a treatment for non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So a treatment for it, but it also has preventative measures, and you guys know that I love those preventative measures, especially for chronic diseases. Heart disease, diabetes, fatty liver disease, Alzheimer's, so brain function, all of that. We want to be immune system, huge on immune system right now. We want those preventative effects, guys. We want to be preventative. We don't want the disease to show up and then start with all of this, these ways to help prevent. We want to prevent before, all right? That way we don't have to deal with it. Now, sometimes genetics can play a role in it, like with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, but we do the best we can. Perry, great to have you in here. Perry or Puri, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I apologize if I'm not. Great to have you in chat. I believe this might be your first time. If it is, welcome. If not, I apologize. I'm making mixed berry smoothies in my magic bullet with raspberries, blueberries, and strawberries. Very nice. I like that. I think that's a great mix. Raspberries, blueberries, strawberries. Pretty much my diet, even on keto, just not the blueberries. You just supplement, take out the blueberries and add in blackberries. If I could just make a suggestion, Puri, now that's great. That's like your antioxidant powerhouse right there. All right, berries, tremendously important, all right, in any diet. That's why even on keto, I make sure that I keep my carbs, save carbs for berries, all right? 3/4 of a cup to a cup every single day, all right? I don't take those out. I keep them in just because of the health benefits for them. Raspberries, strawberries, or blackberries. If I could just make one suggestion, I would say, see if you can add a healthy fat and a healthy protein. Then you're getting the best of all your macronutrients. Foods for health. I just want to give you a little helpful tip. Yep. I think your microphone is a little on the quiet side for YouTube. I think it could go up on your gain a little bit. Okay, well, that's good to know. The interesting thing on my side, Justin, is I have it turned up all the way. Maybe I can look at gain, and my face is literally, for those individuals who have done one-on-one consultations with me and have done coaching with me, know how close the microphone actually is to my face. Sometimes my lips actually touch the microphone. Maybe if I need to talk louder, I can do that. On my software, it shows that I'm actually in the red right now. I'm pretty high, but I'll definitely take that point. Thank you for pointing that out. Maybe if you can, a lot of people will, it might be a volume issue. I'm not too sure, but I will definitely keep that in mind. Hopefully you guys can hear me just fine, but literally talking right into the mic, and I know I'm on the red sometimes. I have to pull back because sometimes it'll max out. Don't get me wrong. You sound great. Yep, no issues, Justin. I appreciate the tip. Any tips, greatly appreciated, especially when it comes to the software. To the software point of things, but I appreciate that. Sometimes I will move away, and sometimes you'll hear me move away because I'm drinking coffee right now. All right, sweet cakes. Me too. My smoothie is kale, strawberries, and green apple, and chia seeds. Very nice. There's tons of ways to make smoothies, guys. I think, once you have those superfoods, because you guys literally all have superfoods in there. Perry, superfoods in there. Berries are a superfood, 100%. Kale, strawberries, green apple, important. And chia seeds, another nice healthy fat. I think that sounds tremendous. And the only thing that I would say, and the thing that I say to a lot of the people that I work with, if you can add a protein source to that, then you're getting the best of both worlds. And Sweet Cakes, I see that you just asked, what protein powders do you recommend? There's a lot of good protein powders out there. The one that I take is one that I've taken for a long time. I think it's just kind of up here in Canada, but it's a 100% clean, gluten-free, keto-friendly. So it might not even be worth giving the name, all right? But there's a lot of good ones out there. When it comes to protein powders, all right, you can do your whey protein, you can do vegan, you can do collagen protein. Whey is a little bit more bioavailable, so you're getting more protein digestion through whey, at least from the studies I've seen. Collagen is up there as well. I think most of them are very good. The thing that I would just look for is look at the reviews. There's just so many protein powders out there. Everything from Allmax to Optimum Nutrition to Kaizen brands, all right, all of those different things. I would look at the reviews and then just make sure that you're, getting one that doesn't have fillers in it, doesn't have preservatives, doesn't have any sugars added to it. I think that all sounds great. But adding like a protein powder to that, I think is amazing, because that smoothie is awesome. It has greens, it has berries, you get your green apple, and you have your very, very healthy fats. The sound is great for me. I listen through my Bluetooth with my phone. Okay, great, Christine. That's awesome. I'm glad that it comes through in clear through the Bluetooth. Sweet Cakes, I recommend the Naked brand whey, no flavor, and their pea protein. Exactly. So you can get whey protein, pea protein, things like that. A lot of people are kind of staying away from whey protein right now because they don't want the dairy, which is 100% fine. They might have a little sensitivity to it. But I use whey protein, like it, use it on a daily basis. Nice, easy way of getting protein and adding it to your smoothies. Really the best way of doing it. Okay, Paulette. Hey, Paulette. Yes, I use whey protein. Awesome. Yep, whey protein is a nice one. And anyone, back 15 years ago, all right, even more, when I started getting into all this, 18 years ago, Optimum Whey, yep, Optimum Nutrition, I think that was one of the ones that I said, those are all good ones. Allmax, you see all of those. When I started getting into, all of this nutrition stuff, people actually were telling me don't take whey protein because they were thinking it was like the equivalent of taking anabolics, when it's literally just a food substitute, all right? You can have whey protein or you can have chicken. Just think of it as a food, all right? It's the same thing like a pea protein, all right? The other vegan proteins that are out there, all right? It's so funny how far we've come on these supplementations. But I remember, being told don't take whey protein, all right? Having people, getting other people to tell me don't take whey protein. And here now these people are taking whey protein, and we know the benefits to it. Usually a good whey protein will have BCAAs in it, all right? So like Toom is saying, all right, so your branched chain amino acids, all right? We want those because it helps with the absorption, all right? But people were correlating whey protein with some sort of anabolic type stuff when it's literally just food, all right? Don't do your own research. Don't listen to people who don't do their research, all right? A lot of people will have opinions because they might have heard something, all right? But if they don't do the research and they don't know what they're talking about, we can't listen to those people. You guys are smart. You guys are interested in nutrition. You guys do your own research. You guys know exactly what's going in there. Anyway, Buffalo, New York. That's awesome, Sweet Cakes. I've been to Buffalo, absolutely. Love New York. That's very, very cool, Sweet Cakes. I don't think I knew that. And porridge as well. Yes, you can mix it into oatmeal, 100%. Yeah, Justin, I think for that, with a lot of foods, the one ingredient, the better. Being on my diet right now on keto, with the keto diet, it's like one ingredient with a lot of the foods. One ingredient, nothing added, no preservatives. That's why with the protein powder, kind of, building on the point, You just want to make sure there's no preservatives, no sugar added. Make sure that there shouldn't be high amounts of fat or carbohydrates in there. If there is, that there usually is something added to it. So, you want mostly protein. Okay, let's continue. All right, another nice one here, guys, is actually going to be garlic. And you guys know we've had tons of different I think we might have discussed this a little bit back and forth in one of our chats. But garlic, all right, one, can be very, very beneficial for non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. All right, and we saw in a number of different recent studies. All right, so these are recent studies, guys. One, tons of powerful health benefits, a lot of bioactive compounds and sulfur compounds were improving our overall health, like heart health especially. All right, but we see that garlic can not only, I wouldn't use it so much for its weight loss ability. You'll see it sometimes, garlic extract, garlic pills, garlic supplementation, even raw garlic. All right, for reduction in body weight. Yes, it's low in calories, but there's nothing magical in garlic that's going to help with losing body weight. All right, but one thing that it can help is reduce fat in the liver. All right, so if we're reducing fat in the liver, all right, then we're reducing the risk of fatty liver disease. All right, what often why people like to show that drink green tea, drink apple cider vinegar, have garlic supplementation because you'll lose weight, and then that's good for fatty liver disease, is because we know obesity is one of the major risk factors for fatty liver disease. All right, but we know there's no magic pill, there's no magic food that's going to target, all right, and just cause you to lose a bunch of fat. One, you need to be in a calorie deficit in order to lose weight. All right, if there was something that we could drink or eat, like lemon water, that's another big one. If we could just take that and eat that or drink that, everyone would be doing that, and we wouldn't have obesity issues. All right, so you need to be in a calorie deficit. You can have all the garlic in the world, you can drink all the lemon water in the world, but if we're sedentary, we're eating in a calorie maintenance or in a calorie surplus especially, because then you're going to be gaining weight. Right? Nothing's going to change if you're not in a deficit. Now, the other nice thing that we see in recent studies, all right, individuals, all right, who were this one looked at supplementation, all right, so who were regularly supplementing with garlic, and it doesn't really matter if you're supplementing with it or eating it, all right, you can get the same benefits from it, all right, but saw reductions in liver fat and improved liver enzyme levels. So amazing. There you can, again, treatment for non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and preventative measures for fatty liver disease. All right, because if you already have it, you have a reduction in the liver fat. All right, and then we also have improvement in liver enzymes. All right, now with sulfur compounds in garlic, you're also going to be reducing inflammation. Okay, so awesome. I think that's tremendous. Frequent consumption of even raw garlic associated with a reduction in non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So if you already have it, it can help to reduce. Yeah, a lot of garlic fans in here. Yeah, garlic is great, guys. One of my favorites. I think it's amazing. Prebiotic, yes. Add raw garlic to avocado. Oh, very nice. Excellent. Organic garlic and raw organic honey mason jar. Completely cover garlic. Let it be. Yes, Flyboy. Okay, thank you, Flyboy, for joining. All right, absolutely. All right, now that's a great way to get a lot of health benefits. All right, honey infused garlic, things of that nature. You're getting the raw organic honey. Before I just keep going on, thank you so much for the thumbs up, guys. We just hit 50 thumbs up. Like I said, I'm missing it by 10s. You guys are thumbing up so fast. Thank you so much for hitting that 50 thumb up goal. That's awesome, guys. Now, when it comes to put it on the counter, let it work, it's magic. You're 100% right. Put it in the pantry, let it infuse, all right? There's a ton of videos on my channel, all right, where you can infuse honey with garlic, with onions, things of that nature. Bunch of other stuff as well. All right, the one thing, just be careful for fatty liver disease. All right, if you're having the honey, guys, all right, just make sure we're not having that added sugar. All right, keep it in moderation, but you're going to get a ton of health benefits from from the raw organic honey and the organic garlic. All right, 100%. But just make sure you keep it in moderation. That way you're not increasing blood glucose levels too high, because as we know and we've talked about already, honey is a sweetener, natural sweetener, but it's still going to increase blood glucose levels just a little bit. Flyboy, 6 a.m., you're in Seattle. Wow. Early start for you. I thought 7 a.m. was early. Welcome from Seattle. And already sub. Thank you so much, Flyboy. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the sub, and thank you so much for coming into chat. Like I said, I very much appreciate it. I have switched from my morning lemon water to hot water, turmeric, ginger, black pepper, half a lemon, and a little coconut oil. Nice, Christine. Okay, great. That's awesome. You know, all of that, a lot of superfoods in there. Turmeric, ginger, black pepper to help with the absorption, lemon, and a little bit of coconut oil. So, you know, on keto, MCT oil is huge. All right, a lot of people are worried about the saturated fats in coconut oil. Remember, it's easily the saturated fats in coconut oil, MCT oil, are easily digested. All right, it's different from your other saturated fats. They are medium chain triglycerides, guys. So just remember that for coconut oil, just a little bit of a tip there. All right, but garlic, very, very important when it comes to you know, reducing the risk of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. All right. The big thing is reducing fat in the liver, not so much the weight loss. For the weight loss, it's those lifestyle changes that we were making and eating in a calorie deficit. I think those are the most important things for you to do. Because remember, and also we can't spot reduce, unfortunately. A lot of people ask me, how can we lose belly fat? Well, we have to lose fat throughout the entire body. And then eventually, sometimes belly fat is last, unfortunately. We put it on there first and we lose it there last, right? We just have to keep working out and then keep losing body fat. Eventually, we will lose the stomach. I thought I might switch to ghee. Ghee is fine too. You know, if you want to go to ghee instead of the coconut oil, that's 100% fine as well. A lot of people, you know, will put that in. A lot of people put it into their coffee even. All right, it's the same thing with butter. A lot of bulletproof coffee, MCT oil and butter. All right, 100%, you know, just regular butter. I like the coconut oil because of the saturated fats, the medium chain triglycerides. So, you know, whichever way that you want to do it, Christine, I think that's just fine. But that sounds like a tremendously healthy start to your morning. So congratulations to you on that. And then, you know, the good thing is too, you're getting in water. I'll let you guys in on a little secret. The first thing I do when I wake up, 2 glasses of water. All right, making sure I'm rehydrated from the night before. All right, if you're going to bed at 9 or 10 and you're waking up at, you know, if we're getting our 7 to 8 hours of sleep, that's 8 hours of time where we're not getting any water, especially if we're not having disturbed sleep and we're having a good night's sleep without waking up. You know, we're not drinking any water for 8 hours, and sometimes it's a little longer because people will stay away from drinking water before bed. That way they're not constantly waking up. All right, so it could be 10 hours. All right, so 2 glasses of water when you wake up. You're having nice hot water there, hydrating, Christine. So very nice. Now, another thing that I want to point out, all right, oatmeal is nice for reducing the risk of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and other related diseases when it comes to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. All right. Can be things like cirrhosis, liver damage, decrease in liver function. All right. The reason why is because, as I said, oatmeal, one of the healthiest whole grains that we can have. It's rich in fiber, both soluble and insoluble, which is important, all right? And we can sort of differentiate from some other whole grains and foods in general, all right? But we see foods like oatmeal, all right, are associated with a reduction of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. The other nice thing is that studies have shown, again, I like looking at the studies, all right, because we see it coming up time and time again, and I think that's the important thing. All right, combined with a nutrient-rich diet. So some of these other foods that not some of them, but these other foods that we've mentioned, even adding a couple of those in, like let's say your leafy green vegetables and maybe your turmeric, maybe a few nuts and seeds, all right? Nutritious diet high in fiber, like oats, all right, very effective at not only reducing the risk of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and having preventative effects, but it can also have good effects at reducing cholesterol levels, which we know is a risk factor for non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Reducing triglycerides, again, a risk factor for fatty liver disease. So oatmeal is a nice addition, and there's a lot of people in chat who've already mentioned that they consume oatmeal. That's why I'm saying that's a great start to your morning. Whenever you can have it whenever you want, but usually it's consumed during the morning. We see that it can not only help reduce fat in the liver and associate with reducing non-alcoholic fatty liver disease complications, all right, but we also know that it can reduce some of the risk factors, reduce fat in the liver, reduce triglyceride levels, reduce high cholesterol. Metabolic syndrome can be affected in a positive way. I think that's tremendous. So oatmeal can be in there too. And I want to point that one out because a lot of people are scared of carbs. They'll hear me say, I'm on keto. If you're listening before January 1st, all right, because I've been on keto for almost 2 weeks now, you know that oatmeal was a staple in my diet. All right, I'm not on keto because I'm scared of carbs. I'm just switching it up a little bit. That's why I say it's important to test out different types of of diets. What brand of oatmeal do you recommend? I like Steel Cut. Yep, for sure. Steel Cut. I think Steel Cut is nice. I think as long as it's not the instant oatmeal, I think that's great. All right. So as long as we're not having instant oatmeal, all right. But Steel Cut is probably the best one that I think that you can have. One of the best ones at least, Perry. But Steel Cut is great. That's what I have. That's what I usually have. Ma, thank you so much. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate having you in here. Oatmeal, flax seeds, whey protein powder. Ooh, that's a nice one. Paulette, if you could add like a few blueberries to there. Rolled oats are fine as well. Absolutely. Rolled oats, 100% fine. If you could add a few blueberries or like raspberries to that, Paulette, that would be amazing. Amazing. Foods for health. I just want to say that there are a lot of YouTubers that cause listener fatigue, either due to their poor thought process or annoying voice, but you are very pleasant to listen to. Well, I appreciate that, Justin. Thank you so much. And I know what you're talking about, the listener fatigue. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that compliment. I really appreciate it. So thank you very much, Justin. Appreciate that. And I'm glad that I'm not causing listener fatigue for you, because yes, I know what you're talking about. I do love the taste of quick Steel Cut. Yeah, so do I. A lot of people don't, Christine. They won't enjoy the quick Steel Cut. Mine's a quicker Steel Cut, which is fine. And when we say quicker, it's just, it can be made in 2 minutes. That's fine. All right, we're talking sort of about that instant oatmeal, which has added sugar, which has a lot of preservatives, all right, which sometimes will have like these dried fruits in it, which we don't even know if they're actually fruits. So, I that's exactly what I have too. A lot of people don't enjoy it because they find the texture too chewy. All right. I kind of like that texture. If I'm wanting to find some motivation to do the right thing on my diet on any given day, playing any podcast of yours is a sure bet to help. That's awesome, Justin. Thank you so much. I'm glad that it helps. That's the main reason why I do this. All right, for motivation, for knowledge, just helping out the best way that I can and any way that I can for you guys to get good benefits from it. All right, I think you guys are really gonna like. I'll be honest. I think you guys are really going to like the nutrition guide that I have coming out. If you kind of like the thought process and, like as you said, the, you already commented, Justin, on the thought process and things like that. I think you guys are really going to like the Ultimate Nutrition book that's going to be coming out, the Ultimate Guide to Nutrition. Keeping it simple, all right, but making sure that it's one, something that's going to work for everyone, and two, that you can make instant changes of. I know what most everyone in this chat are well informed, but make sure your oats are not GMO. Yes. Labeling can be tricky, and we know they like to make it. Yes, absolutely. Non-GMO is probably going to be your best, Flyboy. Sometimes it can be hard, but you know, if you're having steel-cut oats, it's a little bit easier to find non-GMO than those instants. Now, let me give you another one here, guys, for that I want to make sure that you guys have to reduce the risk of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. All right, just make sure that you know, it's actually quite interesting. You know, your fat sources. All right, we already talked about omega-3s. All right, but we want to make sure that we're having our unsaturated fats as well. All right, so things like avocado, which we already talked about. All right, things like peanut butter, almond butter, even cashew butter, very, very helpful. Olive oil, so avocados, nut butters, we already mentioned fatty fish. Olive oil is great, very helpful for those individuals with fatty liver disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. That's what made Mediterranean diet very popular, right? You know, taking out saturated fat, and then increasing a little bit of the unsaturated fat. Why? Again, reducing fat in the liver, but also reducing total cholesterol levels, which we know is a major risk factor for fatty liver disease, of course. Naj, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I apologize if I'm not. Naj Abir, thank you so much for coming into chat. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Now, guys, let's go over some foods that we want to avoid. All right, foods that we want to avoid. Very, very simple. You guys might be able to guess them. I appreciate, you know, you guys listening so far. I appreciate all the members. Thank you so much to Angela, Sonia. You guys, amazing. Very, very excited when those books come out. You know, you get those perks, which is awesome. When I'm looking for motivation, sometimes I'll pop on Fat Stick and Nearly Dead, the movie as well. It's free on YouTube. That's awesome. Wherever your motivation can come from, or at least, you know, your temporary motivation, Justin, that's great. And, you know, listening to this live stream, if that's a form of motivation, that's a pleasure of mine to do. And, you know, makes me feel great that it can provide that for you. Foods we need to avoid and want to. Is porridge oatmeal? Yes, sometimes it's just called, you know, porridge, oatmeal. Sometimes, you know, just different wording. Sometimes the way that it's made, like a lot of the times you'll have porridge made stovetop. But yes, very similar there, Rupal. Paulette, Orlando, Florida. Just missed out on Orlando when I was in there. I definitely once I can go back, I would love to go to Orlando. But again, foods we want to avoid here, guys. Okay, we can just list them quite quickly. Now remember, this is if we're dealing with fatty liver disease or we really want to limit the risk of fatty liver disease. All right, we need to avoid these. All right, again, if you're not dealing with fatty liver disease, all right, keep them in moderation. All right, but some of these we want to take out completely. Like the first one is sugar. All right, any sugars, added sugars, we need to stay away from. All right, things like soda, cookies, fruit juices. All right, fruit juices is one of the big ones. Remember, I mentioned in another stream, I think it was the obesity stream, about almost 66%, so 2/3 of the sugar that individuals are consuming in the most recent studies was coming from both soda and fruit juices. So 2/3. So if you can cut those out, all right, you're doing yourself a huge service in decreasing the amount of sugar that you're having on a day-by-day basis, which we definitely want to do. So no sugar. But the other thing too is it's going to increase inflammation. And remember, we don't want that inflammation when it comes to fatty liver disease. I like to cook steel oats with red lentils. Nice. In the Instant Pot and add frozen blueberries. and ground chia seeds. That sounds like a nice one, Justin. Very good. Jacques Nunez, thank you so much. Good morning to you. Appreciate having you in here. Thank you so much, guys. A lot of new names, which I believe are new names. It's great to see you guys in here. It's great to have you in here. Thank you so much for the support. I see we're at 54 thumbs up. Thank you so much for the support, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. You know, it's a great community that we have here. I couldn't be more happy with the community. Everyone is so positive. Everyone is so helpful. You guys are amazing. Tremendous community here. Thank you so much. Welcome if it's your first time. All right, and everyone else, welcome back. It's great to have you. You know who I'm talking about. So added sugar, guys. The reason why we need to decrease sugar, all right, basically to zero if we can, all right, as low as possible. One, high sugar, all right, so having sugar in our diet increases the amount of fat buildup in the liver. Simple, all right, very, very simple. If we're eating sugar, we're increasing the amount of fat that's building up in the liver. Obviously, if we're doing that, we're putting ourselves at major risk for fatty liver disease. Okay, and then all the complications that come from that. Cirrhosis, liver scarring, all right, decreasing the function of the liver. All right, so make sure that we're reducing sugar. Also, don't forget, sugar is going to help lead to obesity, risk factors, all right, high cholesterol, triglycerides, metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance, tons and tons of stuff. All right, there's no nutritional value in sugar, so why would we want that in there? All right, so we need to make sure that we're limiting sugar as much as possible if we want to reduce fatty liver disease, guys. So sugar is the first one. The other one, all right, is going to be alcohol. All right, has to be alcohol. All right, alcohol, one of the major causes of fatty liver disease. All right, and a ton of other liver diseases, guys. So non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, even obviously alcoholic fatty liver disease caused by alcohol, but even alcohol can cause fatty liver disease. All right, and again, a bunch of other liver diseases like cirrhosis of the liver. So we want to keep sugar out, get it to zero if we can. All right, limit alcohol as much as possible. All right, and if we can, even eliminate alcohol altogether. All right, because it's especially if we want to avoid fatty liver disease, and especially if you're dealing with fatty liver disease. All right, alcohol needs to be reduced. Okay, so sugar and alcohol, the two biggest things. You guys will hear me say that from time, in a lot of the times, they just don't add any nutritional value. All right, and a lot of things, they're empty calories, no nutrition, high calories. A lot of people will tell me, well, I'm gonna have a certain alcohol that has little to no carbs, or low carbs. Well, a low carb beer, all right, in just a small can, whatever it is, 355 milliliters, we'll have somewhere around 15 carbs. All right, that's going to put you at 60 calories right there, even if you're just having one. Now that's 60 calories in carbohydrates. And remember, carbohydrates can put you at a little bit more at risk for fatty liver disease, especially when you're taking it with alcohol, because alcohol is one of the major causes of fatty liver disease in the first place. But not only are you getting the calories from the carbohydrates, and that's just in one, that's 60 calories just in one small, all right, or regular beer, all right, but you're also getting all the calories from alcohol. So people will tell me, well, there's 0 calories in this beer that I'm drinking, all right, so there's no carbs, so there's 0 calories, all right, but in a lot of the time, they don't take into consideration the alcohol calories. Remember, in protein and carbs, there's 4 grams of fat, so in protein and carbohydrates, all right, in each gram, there's 4 calories per gram. In fat, in each gram of fat, there's 9 calories. All right, alcohol is 7 calories. So there's alcohol in calories as well, guys. All right, so they might tell me 0 calories, all right, but just one shot of alcohol has something like 155 calories. That's just one shot. Imagine if you're having multiple, if you're not doing it in moderation. Imagine the amount of calories, and imagine the amount of damage you're doing to your liver. All right, now that's not to be judgmental or preachy. I'm just telling you the foods that we want to avoid if you want to avoid fatty liver disease, all right, or at least keep in moderation. I had to get away from alcohol recently. Oh, sorry. What about stevia or sugar substitute? Jacques, stevia. All right, as mentioned previously, I know you just got in. Good morning. Stevia is great. I think that's an awesome substitute. All right, that's a great one because, no sugar. All right, a lot of times people will substitute with honey or with agave nectar, but you're getting sugar in there as well. All right, you're getting health benefits from that, but you're also getting sugar. So stevia is very nice. I think stevia is one of the better ones, to be honest with you. So stevia, fine. Very great question. I had to get away from alcohol recently, but I really had to say no to friends who had the expectation I would party with them. Justin, you took the words right out of my mouth. Sometimes if you're having to decrease in alcohol, sometimes you have to get away, all right, from certain influences. Unfortunately, sometimes that can mean certain friends, friend groups, things like that. Justin, you have your own goals. What's going to help you hit those goals are going to be the things that you need to do. All right. So, a lot of the times that's the case. All right. And the thing is, we don't push our goals on other people, or at least, we don't have to. So just because we're giving up alcohol, or just another example is because, just because I'm doing keto, I don't tell everyone else, well, you should be doing keto. All right. I would give the benefits of why I'm doing it, just like I would give the benefits of any diet. Remember, there's benefits for any diet, guys. But I would say the benefits, why I'm doing it, and then it's up to you. It's their choice. All right. So I think that's great, Justin, and that's going to help you to maintain, all right, staying away from alcohol, especially as a lifter. All right. I know that you lift, and as a fellow lifter, all right, I can relate to you. All right. Alcohol is one of the worst things for lifting. All right. With protein synthesis, recovery, all right, increased strength. All right. So, staying away from alcohol is probably the best bet. How do you know if you have a fatty liver? The best thing you can do, Jacques, is go and get tested by your medical practitioner. But some of the signs and symptoms of having a fatty liver disease, or having fatty liver, is one, fatigue. Fatigue is going to be one of the symptoms. And one of the main ones, all right, that kind of points to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is pain or discomfort in the upper right abdomen of the body. Okay. Also, sometimes you might get a little bit of bloating or swelling in that area as well. All right. Now, just because you have that doesn't mean that you necessarily have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Those are signs and symptoms. But if they're persistent signs and symptoms, all right, that's when you want to probably talk to your doctor, because we have to go and get tested. Okay, we can't just say because we feel tired, all right, I got a little bit of pain and discomfort. All right, those are signs and symptoms that are going to make us want to think about maybe, might I have fatty liver disease? Could it be a possibility? Do I have risk factors? Am I obese? Do I have high cholesterol, metabolic syndrome, underactive thyroid, so hypothyroidism, all of those things? Those are all risk factors. Go and get tested by the doctor. Blood work will tell you everything. Oh yeah. I take 5 meds for my heart disease, including a statin, which causes fatty liver. Alcohol causes fatty liver. Yes, absolutely. Too much sugar and refined carbs causes it. 100% sugar, refined carbohydrates. And this is if we want to stay away from fatty liver disease, guys. All right, sugar, refined carbohydrates. So Justin's, what he's doing, he's differentiating refined carbs from complex carbohydrates. So low versus high glycemic carbs, just like he's saying in this next one. Exactly, Justin. You're very welcome, Justin. My pleasure. I rarely only drink wine, but I gave that up. Someone close to me had to totally stop drinking, and then I stopped in support. Wow, congratulations, Christine. Good for you. That's awesome. Such a good friend. Or someone you know, maybe a family member, but good for you. And again, it's not to be preachy or anything like that. We're just talking about the health benefits of why we might want to consider limiting or keeping it in moderation or staying away from it in general. All right, it's only going to do damage to the liver. All right, it's processed through the liver. It's going to do damage there. Oh yeah, Justin, I can relate 100%. Yeah, I'm a coffee drinker. I will freely admit that. You guys hear me on stream, on pretty much every stream. If you saw me live on stream, if you want to see, who's talking right now, the face behind the voice, go to the last live stream. All right, the face was on there. I was drinking coffee. In my last consultation, one-on-one coaching, I was drinking a coffee. All right, so I usually will have a coffee in there. And to be fair, all right, we have to point this out. All right, some of the foods, all right, coffee can actually help in moderation. All right, so like 1 cup of coffee can help to protect against liver disease. All right, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, guys. It's because of the enzymes that are in there. All right, so regular coffee consumption in moderation, all right, is associated with lower development of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease in moderation. All right, it can also have benefits sometimes even with different liver diseases like liver fibrosis. All right, so people who are already diagnosed with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. We also see that caffeine, all right, can lower the number of abnormal, all right, or unwanted liver enzymes. All right, so which can put people at risk for liver diseases, especially fatty liver diseases. So it's interesting you bring up coffee. All right, you're putting thoughts into my head here, which is great. That's why I love the engagement, guys. Flyboy, I am a U.S. Air Force vet. Oh, congratulations. I drank a lot for years, and my doctor told me if you keep drinking, you're going to die. Yep. If I lose you as a patient, my income, so quit drinking. I love my BMW. Oh, the car. That's sad, Flyboy. It's great that you drank that. You gave up drinking. Obviously, your health is first. I always tell people, and why I offer one-on-one coaching, all right? You need support systems, people who have your back, people who are willing to work for you, people who are on your side, not for, monetary gain or anything like that. It's, you're going to get the best, all right, when people are on your side, when your goals are taken up. So in people who I'm coaching right now, if you're in chat, you know who you are. All right, if I'm doing consultations with them, your goals become my goals. I work for you, and we work together as a team. All right, so I'll just put my business email in here. All right, business email goes in here. All right, for people who are interested in coaching. This can be anyone, not speaking to anyone specifically, but just anyone in general. If you're interested in coaching, consultation, one-on-one, they go great online. If you're interested in that, but you need a support system. You don't need people who, are doing it for income. All right, that's very sad. But Flyboy, congratulations. I hope you're staying away from the drink. I mean, you have 2 options, right? And I don't want that second option for you. Gloria, is that black coffee? Yes. Great question. Black coffee. Okay, with a little bit of stevia seems to be fine. All right, but if you can have black coffee, and I have black coffee, all right, so this is black coffee that I'm drinking right now. All right, black coffee is best. Okay, and it can really be any types of coffee. All right, like a lot of people ask me certain brands, even like Starbucks, K-Cups, things like that. As long as you have black coffee, then that's the best. That's what's going to provide you the best bet for your staying away from and avoiding and sort of foods that you want to eat to decrease your risk of fatty liver disease. Great question, Gloria. Thank you for letting me point that out. Black organic coffee, yes. Yeah, my doctor gave me meds to detox at home, and I never looked back. Good for you, Flyboy. That's awesome. Yes, caffeine is super strong. It's just sugar is super strong. All right, we already know that in our brain, it's wired that there's a reward system. All right, for caffeine, all right, a reward system. We get that feeling. All right, when we have caffeine, when we have sugar, it lights up the exact same areas that hard drugs would. All right, in the brain. So absolutely, we know that with sugar, there's that reward system. All right, we get the sugar, our body rewards us with that feeling. All right, and then the sad thing is, the more sugar we have, the more of that feeling we get. So the more sugar we want. It's like any other drug. George, welcome. I don't do coffee because of my eyes. I try to stay away from caffeine. Okay, great Christine. You know, that's why you're drinking in the morning. You know, herbal teas are great. Green tea, you know, herbal teas are great because they don't have caffeine. Green tea, you know, does have caffeine in it. It's a little bit lower, but if you want to stay away from caffeine, totally stick to the herbal teas. I mean, almost 5 years. I'm in splendid form. Good for you, Flyboy. Congratulations. 5 years is tremendous. Big shout out to you. So thank 59 thumbs up. See what I mean? I'm missing it by tens. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. Now, the other thing that we want to stay away from, all right, salt. Okay. Now, the reason why we stay away from salt, we've seen in studies that consuming too much sodium can increase the risk of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. All right. A lot of the times you'll see something like 2,300 milligrams, 2,500 milligrams per day of sodium. You want to have a little bit less than that. All right. Limit sodium to less than 2,300 milligrams per day if possible. All right. We know that too much salt, all right, too much sodium can increase, all right, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease by increasing fat buildup in the liver, but also all of those other risk factors, high blood pressure, all right, things of that nature. All right. A lot of the times if you have fatty liver disease, all right, and again, this is not coming from a medical practitioner, all right, but someone who's done tons of research. All right, if you have fatty liver disease, all right, or, you know, you're being preventative with it, all right, it's like 1,500 milligrams a day. So 1,500 milligrams per day. So much less than that 2,500 milligrams, 2,300 milligrams. All right, you're around 1,500 milligrams, especially if you have fatty liver disease. And we hit 60. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Now, again, we already talked about the carbs. All right, carbohydrates. All right, it's the highly processed carbohydrates, guys. Okay, I don't want you scared of whole grains. All right, and things of that nature. We already know oats. All right, but we know highly processed, as we mentioned before. All right, the highly processed sugary type carbohydrates, all right, that are going to raise blood sugar, blood glucose, and insulin, all right, and have literally almost no nutrition and no fiber. All right, those are going to want to be the carbohydrates that we avoid when possible. All right, so we're talking about like white bread, white rice to a certain extent, white pastas to a certain extent, and especially like your sugary baked goods like donuts and things like that. All right, highly processed, refined carbohydrates and sugary. All right, because remember, you're going to get a higher spike in blood glucose levels, all right, because you're going to be using that as energy. But the thing is, when you have those refined carbohydrates, a lot of the times they're absorbed so fast we don't have time to burn it off. It's going to be stored as fat, so you're increasing your risk of obesity as well. AST and ALT, yes, Justin, you were bringing that up before. I was trying to remember the exact pronunciation of the AST, super long medical terms. ALT is always, so those are enzymes, I believe, is always elevated due to the meds I take. Yep, the cleaner I eat, the better. Yes, absolutely. Eat clean. Eat clean, you're working out, that's tremendous. But yeah, those enzymes, yes, are gonna be elevated. Turmeric can help with that, Justin. Turmeric can help specifically with those enzymes that you're mentioning. 100%. All right, we see into the studies again, black pepper, fats, so we increase the absorption of curcumin. All right, so I would try to stay away from that, and then of course saturated fats if you can. Limit those, guys. Okay, keep with those greens. Keep with your non-sedentary lifestyle. Keep that exercise and sleep up there. All right, if you're gonna supplement with anything, vitamin E seems to be one of the more popular ones. But what a chat! How long did we go for? Almost 2.5 hours. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys. Big shout out to everyone. Thank you so much to all of my Fit Team members, all of those individuals who hit the join button. You guys know who you are. I don't know if you're still in here. I hope that you are. All right. Again, very much appreciated. All those individuals who gave and donated through the super chat function. Thank you so much. You know who you are. Really appreciate that as well. Supporting the channel, helping me get a little bit more time to get that ultimate nutrition guide for everyone. All right, doesn't matter what diet you're following. A lot of my philosophical ideas are going to be put into that book. All right, a breakdown of carbs, fats, fiber, water intake, all of that stuff is going to be in there, and I think you guys are going to get great value. All right, if you can join as a Fit Team member, that's always greatly appreciated. Any super chat is greatly appreciated if you're getting good value from our 2.5 hour, live stream here, which is amazing. Time flew by for me. We do this twice a week, daily videos. Yesterday, I believe our video was on cloves and black pepper. All right, thank you so much for the support on that. The last one was the importance of vitamin D. All right, getting vitamin D and vitamin D supplementation. All right, I think that's great. All right, so thank you so much. If you're getting great value, all right, if you can, it would be great to have you as a Fit Team member. All right, any super chat would be greatly appreciated, but joining as a Fit Team member I think is great because you get the perks from that as well. All right, joining that Fit Team, the perks, all right, is wonderful. Also, if you want one-on-one consultations, one-on-one coaching, if you're in here and you're getting that, all right, thank you so much. It's great to have you as a member and as a client. Appreciate you guys. All right, and it's a pleasure for me to talk to you guys. You guys, it's awesome seeing new faces and being able to talk about fatty liver disease, what foods to eat, what to avoid for 2.5 hours with you guys. So I really appreciate it. It's ordered CMOS for joints. It is supposed to be good for, and on blood tests, what area do you think? I have arthritis in all joints. Well, if we want to reduce arthritis, anti-inflammatories, Jacques, are going to be your best friend. All right, so berries, tons of other foods like blueberries are great. All right, for anti-inflammatories. Fish oil will be good. All right, having fatty fish, omega-3, so a fish oil supplement is very good. And we should do a whole discussion, and there might be a whole discussion. You should do a search, Jock. I think I might have done a live stream on arthritis before. If not, I'll make sure that I get that in there at some point. Buddy, I take a strong curcumin supplement most days. Good for you, Justin. Paulette, you're very welcome. Thank you so much for coming into chat today. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. A turmeric ginger tea and a splash of almond milk is good go-to to help with my liver. There you go, Flyboy. And then just get that little bit of black pepper in there if you can, my friend. Thanks for your time, Foods for Health. It's always fun my pleasure, Justin. I tried clothes one time and it was very interactive with my blood thinner. That's the other thing, all right? And I've had discussions back and forth in emails with individuals, and we talked about it last time. Make sure if you're on medication, make sure you know what foods, all right, could potentially interact with the medications you're on. Your medical practitioner should be telling you which to stay away from, all right? We know with certain medications, things like one example that comes to mind is grapefruit juice can interact with a few medications. All right, usually when you take the medication, it should tell you right on it what to stay away from. All right, so make sure that you're staying away from foods that are going to interact or negatively interact with the medications you're on. All right, hopefully your medical practitioner, if they're prescribing it, all right, hopefully that they're going over that for you. All right, but just make sure you're cognizant of that as well. I really have to thank you guys. Thank you so much for the support. 63 thumbs up. That is incredible. We went strong for 2.5 hours. Felt like 2.5 minutes, honestly. Today flew by. Really enjoyed the chat. Really enjoyed having everyone in here. Jacques, thank you. I will see if I can get you as a coach. You are fine. Well, thank you so much, Jacques. If you're interested in that, Jacques, in that service, send me an email through my business email. That's probably that's the best way I would see it. There's just too many comments that show up on the channel here. If you think about it, there's almost 5,000 videos and people are consistently commenting on the videos. So sending me an email through my business email is the best way to contact me. I see it every time and I get back to you in a very efficient and timely manner. But it'd be great to have you as a client, all right, and we can discuss that further. Again, there's other people that have clients who are in chat. Hopefully right now, I know they were in chat earlier. All right, I think it goes great. Again, I'm offering that service because I truly believe and I'm confident that I can help you reach your goals, whatever they are. All right, and it's always great to have the accountability and someone that you can discuss with, all right, your goals, all right, and be comfortable with. That's the main thing. All right, your goals are your goals. All right, a lot of the times we have friends, we have family, they're living their lives, they don't have the same goal as you do. It's nice to have a coach that you're comfortable with and you can talk about those types of goals with. So send me an email if you're interested in that, Jacques. Be great to have you. Great to work with you. I appreciate that. Sweet Cakes, pleasure as always. My pleasure. Thank you for coming in. Yep, so I have grapefruit juice for 10 years now. Exactly. See, grapefruit juice is the big one. I was trying to remember it last time, and then it came to my head after the chat, but grapefruit juice interacts with quite a few medications. Justin, one of the top commentators on YouTube, buddy. Well, I appreciate that. Serve a lot more viewers for sure. Well, thank you, Justin. I appreciate that comment so much. Thank you very much. You know, the YouTube algorithm can be funny sometimes, but having you guys in here, there's been a ton of you guys in here today. The fact that we get this many just talking about nutrition on fatty liver disease is a very, very special thing, and I do not take it for granted. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I appreciate having you guys in here. And I appreciate that comment, Justin. Thanks. I will pass this channel along to others I know. Thank you very much, Flyboy. Have a great day, everyone. All right. Thank you, Flyboy. You have a great day as well. Great having you in here. Thank you so much for sharing everything that you did. And congratulations on everything that you've been able to achieve. It's Jackie. Okay, Jackie. Just spelled like that. Okay, thank you so much. I'm glad you cleared that up for me. One of my pet peeves is mispronouncing people's names, so I appreciate you saying that, Jackie. You guys probably know that because I always apologize once I say a name. I always say I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Well, that'd be great, Jackie. Feel free to send me an email. And we can talk about that service for you, Jackie. But Jackie, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much for your questions. Greatly appreciated having that engagement with you. So our next stream, guys, I'll let you know. I'll put the reminder up, all right? So that way you guys have the reminder, all right? Right now, where I am, we're in lockdown, so it might be before Sunday, all right? But we know for sure that the next one will be on Sunday. All right, but it might be on Friday. All right, it's just depending. All right, I have no problem coming on here. You guys are such great supporters coming on here and getting some extra talks in during the week. I really appreciate it. I enjoy these live streams. I look forward to them every time I do them. Gloria, well worth being up at 4:30 a.m. Well, I appreciate that. Ooh, top 1%. I'm telling you guys, up at 4:30 a.m. listening to a live stream on nutrition. Congratulations to you, Gloria, and congratulations to everyone else in stream who is looking to improve their health and make 2022 the best year that we can. That's the big goal, guys. That's the big goal. And we take it step by step, 1% changes a day. I think that's the best way to do it for success. So thank you, guys. If we're here before Sunday, I will let you know. I'll put a reminder up. You guys will know exactly what the topic is. All right, and again, if the topic doesn't vibe with you, you can always come in and ask your questions. Okay, so if you're listening to this now or if you're listening to it later, just know, all right, say it's on a topic. Maybe it might not be the topic that you're the most interested in. Come on in and ask questions as well. All right, we talked about a bunch of different things today. Everything from fatty liver disease to, stevia to, weightlifting. Bison was coming up. So you guys can always come in here and ask your questions as well. All right. Glad you think so too, Flyboy. All right, so I'll let you know when the next one is. Again, send me an email if you're interested in any of the services. Be on the lookout for that ultimate guide to nutrition. I can't wait to get it out for you guys. Thank you so much for the support. 64 thumbs up. I appreciate all of you. Let's keep going with our health, with our fitness goals, nutrition goals. I know we can do it. We just take it one day at a time. Again, thank you so much for the support, and I will talk to you guys.